Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 3 of Unstoppable Risen's Plat League. And these are some two teams in the other division from what we saw last week. We had some Div B games going. This is Dorado Gaming's other roster, Dorado Gaming Omega, who are sitting at 2-0, and BYU are coming into this 0-2. What do you guys think of this series today?
I mean, if it's anything like what the last Dorado Gaming was last week, Delta, we're in for quite a show because
Yeah.
they put on an absolute masterclass between them and the team that they were facing. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I'm not sure either, but yeah, you're completely right. I mean, just we know Dorado Gaming as a whole is like a staple of like the amateur
Yeah.
scene, pretty much. They have so many different teams across so many different leagues, and every iteration of the team we have seen has been pretty solid across the board. And it's almost like, they're a very good team. You need to make sure that it is a threat, and like we need to be careful
Yeah,
of
yeah.
this team. Got to learn how to draft against them, blah blah blah, all that fun nonsense. But this should be a pretty exciting series. I'm looking forward to it. Hyper, my man, this is gonna be awesome. And then Darter, let's get this party rolling.
Yeah.
Tricast again. I like doing this.
It's really
This is
fun, yeah.
this is actually fun. I kind of enjoy it, but my man's brought us in, but there was no introduction made. How are y'all doing week 3? I am gonna be taking you step by step, play through play. I am the host with the most. Just kidding.
hmm Yeah, yeah. Hey, don't sell yourself short, okay?
But no, I'm definitely excited. I'm definitely excited.
Yeah.
Right, same.
How do you guys think this recent patch is shaping out to be? Last week, the patch had just dropped when we
Yeah.
watched 2. Now that it's been played out a little bit, we've got to see a little bit more how this bot lane meta has shifted ever so slightly. How you guys feeling about the bot lane this
Well,
week?
Darter, you go first, and then I'll say what I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
for sure. I think people are starting to find counters to a lot of what people thought were just like really strong blind pickable supports, like Milio, for example. It's not necessarily a B1 staple anymore for some teams. If the enemy support is really good on things like Blitzcrank or Nautilus, those are things that you can pick into Milio now. As people are having more success with hook champions, some of the AD carries have come back into meta. Like Ezreal has started to make a comeback. Twitch is making a comeback as a Zeri counter, so a lot of people aren't B1ing Zeri anymore. So there are a lot of things that people have figured out as this patch has gone on.
Yeah, and I was gonna agree with you on that one. I'm not even gonna talk about the pro play meta right now because like that is a
Yeah.
completely different story, and like they are on patch 13.9 for whatever reason. But we're
hmm
gonna go ahead and focus mainly on the solo queue aspect of it. And Kog'Maw, I've mentioned on every stream so far. That dude apparently is absolutely broke according to Hyper. Hyper tells me he makes some pretty nasty plays with that champion, and I'm kind
I'm,
of
I'm
oh,
not the most mechanically inclined ADC. Actually, I take that back. I don't want to
that's
say
pretty
I'm a
whack.
one trick Ezreal, but I'm pretty nutty with Ezreal. Uh, but Kog'Maw shouldn't be able to move and dip and dive the way he does. And for some reason, I can just pull out a 1v3 out of nowhere and live with 20 HP for no reason. For no reason.
Yeah. So the guys got to get into the game here, so I'll let you two go take draft. I'll see you guys after with some extra thoughts, and we'll get started here.
Alrighty. Uh, so with the way we were talking about the bands, freak. How do you think BYU and Dorado are gonna kind of draft this time around?
Very interestingly, and Darter and I were talking before the stream had started, and he had mentioned that for whatever reason, these teams like to first pick Thresh on blue side, and
Really,
I,
Thresh?
yeah, that's very interesting. So I'm wondering if that trend will continue. I did. I don't know, and I think the Garen ban is a little funny. That tells me that Toronto's top laner is very good on it, and that's something they don't want to see.
The
I'm,
Rek'Sai ban is kind of odd.
I
I
think
feel like
probably the same reason. Comfort pick.
yeah, I feel like that one's more of a targeted like because Rek'Sai is not necessarily meta, but she's not necessarily bad at the same time.
No, I'm
Like it's
100% with
very
you.
niche.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you that one. And as we're wrapping up the bans right now, we have
Heckram.
Hecarim banned. I'm surprised Hecarim was banned because like he was kind of like inadvertently nerfed when Yomu's got nerfed. So like,
I thought that was funny. A lot of champs got like that too. Even J4, I wouldn't say he inadvertently got nerfed, but his power definitely did drop.
yeah. And then we're going with the Rakan first pick. Okay, so I mean, taking
I'm
Zai off the table
picking
is
the
good, but
Rakan.
Rakan
Okay.
is a pretty solid engage. So I'm actually, not upset with it. It kind of shows like, okay, we want something that can kind of be our go button, and Rakan is that go button. He's not the go button that he used to be before they nerfed his W naturally, but he's still a pretty
It's still a
big.
pretty big go
Yeah, it's
button.
still a pretty big go button, of course. But I mean, just back in the day when you was able just to flash WR and pretty much in like a microsecond, we saw Hillisang doing that in the LEC and just pulling up nutty plays. And there's the Thresh.
All right.
Except, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you can flay away the Rakan, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's a counter pick, but it's a pretty decent like pick into the Rakan.
Right.
And now they just have to kind of decide what they want to do from here. You can either wait to pick your AD carry. I mean, we mostly have jungle bans anyway, so maybe it's a good idea maybe to pick the jungle right now because the jungle pool is being like is tag weird right now. What we saw last week is that Dorado's jungler was really good on carry junglers, which I thought was very interesting. But they're gonna go
I
ahead and opt for the C pick. Okay.
I don't like this Jinx pick. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, after Stormrazor got nerfed, I feel like Jinx's power kind of started dipping.
And
Um,
maybe this is my inexperience with like building in the patch, but I assumed you kind of just build. You're just okay with building IE first on her, but
I mean, sure you can rush the IE, but I mean, just like it was a few seasons ago when before the Mythics came in, rushing IE was still a pain in the ass because you still needed all of this extra income to
yeah.
make it happen. So you pick that earlier item spike so that you can damage before all that income comes in. I do like the Zac. I do
He's
love
good
the
too.
Rakan, and I love the pairing with Jin.
Jin, yeah, I like
Oh
that.
Lord, that is gonna be something. Those
Yeah,
those engages are gonna be hilarious. What's up, son?
yeah, very much. Hey, I just looked over the street when your kids just walked in.
Yeah, they just opened the door, and we're like,
Nice.
"What's good?"
So everyone say hello to Hyper's kids. We'll just wave, just wave. But anyway, so wrapping up the Pixels and Kindred will be locked in. Okay.
So good.
The double 80 carry comp is a little risky nowadays. I wouldn't say like 100% risky, but mildly risky. It's just
Put some
Kindred is
shorts
such a
on.
telegraph
Put some
champion
shorts
because you got what?
on. Why
What is going
Kindred? Ah.
what is going on in the Hyper household? What's going on over there?
Uh, Jessica came in, grabbed Savannah, so I still got little man. But what is this Kindred pick? I want to know about that.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I'm actually also really 100% okay with the Scion ban because I'm sick of seeing Scion right now. Every team in the LPL plays him, and I'm so sick of seeing Scion. So I'm glad Scion's being taken off the table.
Scion is like Jin. It's really hard to nerf him.
Yeah, it's just
Uh,
his W is just so obnoxious. That's the
it's
thing.
his entire kit is obnoxious, honestly. Um,
And Loki
I don't know what Dorado Gaming's going with this draft right now because they got the Kindred, the Silas. Okay.
I wouldn't really like that pick too much. You don't have too many. They usually Silas is saved as like the final pick, so that way you can see what the rest of the ultimates you can steal are. So I'm actually glad that they did not go ahead with this and they go ahead with the Leah instead to stop the engage of the Zac and the Rakan. So very good counter pick into the two of them. Now depending on here, it is blind now, mind you. So BYU can kind of just pick whatever they want right here into it, and I think whatever they want for their top laner as well. Granted, I will say, and it has happened that
Do
we
you
did.
just go Cassid in here?
I think I wouldn't see why not. Again, but you're still, into Talia. But Ziggs being locked in instead is
You
the
know what?
answer.
Six is a really good
Okay,
answer
yeah.
to that. It plays into the Wombo combo they got setting up right now, and with Talia in lane being obnoxious the way she is, Ziggs is a really good way to kind of like mitigate that mid lane control that she's just gonna automatically have.
Yeah, no, for sure. And last week here should be their top lane. Now there is a very wild chance it's going to be Zach top, but Aatrox being
Aatrox.
covered and insta locked. Okay, I just went up against two Aatroxes today, so I'm feeling not good about Dorado going against it because Aatrox is still not fair. Granted, he had a Yumi
It has
both
gotten
games.
a lot better. It has gotten a lot better. You gotta admit.
It is better, but I think the games we played earlier, they both had a Yumi on them, so that sucked.
Uh,
That just made the game instantly harder, but
you
not
just
the
played.
case of this
You
one.
just played Jax right here, right?
Or Fiora. Yeah, I like both options, either Jax or Fiora here as the counter pick into that. I mean, Fiora will be that strong split push presence, so they're kind of looking for mildly a 1-3-1 style of draft here for
Yeah, I
Dorado.
could see that. You know,
Not so
BYU's
much up
going
in my
for
heat.
this like wombo combo in your face sort of ordeal with Jin and Ziggs kind of like lobbing bombs from
Half the
from
map
left
away.
field. Yeah.
Yeah, exceptionally well. But now, with that being wrapped up, so we'll just take it back to the analyst desk, bring Darter in, and get his opinion on the draft as well. So, what are you thinking of the draft that you see right now, buddy?
Um, it's sort of what I expected for Dorado Gaming. I would have liked to see a Aphelios instead of Jinx. I think Jinx's power has fallen off quite a bit.
Yeah.
She's one of the lower win rate AD carries. She's still
Mhm.
picked a lot. But I think there's a lot of other ADCs you can pick here that are much stronger. The Kindred pick, that is something. This draft for them, by the way, is very similar to something they played in week one. And they did very well with it. The main difference is they have a carry top laner this time around with the Fiora into Aatrox, which is a classic Aatrox counter, rather than like an Ornn or a Sion, which is what they played with it previously.
Mhm.
Their draft went roughly how I expected them to. I really like it actually. My main issue with BYU's draft is this Jin Ziggs. I don't like it at all, to be honest with you. Just because,
Really?
yeah, Ziggs doesn't do very well into Kindred. Just because if you scuff the engage, she can just completely negate all of your wombo damage with like Curtain Call and Ziggs ultimate. You really have to use that satchel charge to full effect to get people out of that ultimate. It's not very
Right.
easy to do that either. And Aatrox doesn't give you that full lockdown CC for Ziggs to follow up on, because really you're relying on Zac to find a huge engage or Rakan to find a really good flank to really get your team going. And if you can't find those things and into champions like Talia and Thresh, it's really hard to do that. So I really like Dorado Gaming's draft.
Fair enough.
I
I
mean,
like that, to be honest.
I like Dorado Gaming's draft, but I mean, like we were saying with the Jinx, I would have, the Aphelios I think would have been a lot
Yeah.
better here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the Talia, honestly.
I only like I like
It's like an interesting pick, but I understand why we pick it. We have
Yes.
Zac and Rakan.
yeah.
A nice way to kind of like stop that. Witness me moment, if you would.
Mhm.
Um, so I like it, but I don't know. I'm feeling weird about Dorado's draft the way they set it up.
Hmm. Yeah. The.
I'm gonna go lane by lane actually, to be completely honest with you, because
Hmm.
obviously Aatrox versus Fiora fairly is a matchup,
Yeah.
100%. That one I will not even touch. It's just who's better at their champion than who. For Fiora with the parries, Aatrox with his ability, so on and so forth.
Hmm.
And then in the jungle, that one's going to be a Farmville basically for Kindred. She's going to want to know where or be where her marks are. Zac is going to have to try to prevent that. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
The mid lane is where I'm going to focus on specifically, because Ziggs does have the range advantage over Talia, and that's the problem she's going to
Hmm.
run into if she's not able to kind of get like dodge these bombs the way he throws them, and he might throw them
Yeah.
pretty funkily and make her into it,
Yeah.
taking a step she doesn't want to. That will instantly get an advantage, and he can W her into the Kindred, and like kind of set up these weird little ganks for her to like create this pressure in the mid lane. And not to mention that Ziggs is an absolute monster when it comes to tower taking later into the
Hmm.
game. They're gonna
I
have to
mean,
worry
especially
about.
if you got an Aatrox on your side too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then on the bot lane side, I haven't really formulated how I'm expecting it to go, but I think in terms of like hard engage, 100%. It goes in favor of BYU because Rakan just has more than one way he can get into them. So it's going to be interesting. If this Thresh is good with his lanterns, then I don't foresee any bit of problems. We It's going to be kind of spicy. It looks like we're in spectator play. So is
Yeah.
it time for our favorite game, boys?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, our favorite game. My favorite game. I guess I'll start off since I had the most with one
Yeah,
last
go
Yeah.
for
week.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go with the winner, I guess.
I missed every game, so I'm not going first this go around.
I'm calling Mountain. Because
Okay.
I'm calling Mountain Soul because if BYU ends up getting Mountain Soul,
Very hard.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
very hard for Dorado Gaming to shred through Zac and Aatrox. But with that being said, if Dorado Gaming got Mountain, Jin and Ziggs are gonna have a real hard time trying to peel through Fiora and Thresh's, armor and
Yeah.
MR that they inherently get over the course of the game, anyways. So that's what I'm calling.
No,
Okay.
that's fair. Starters, go for it.
Yeah, I hope it's Infernal Soul for this game. I think both teams could really use Infernal Soul, and it would. I mean, I love big damage numbers, and both of these teams have the potential to get some really big numbers with Infernal Soul. So that's what I'd like to see.
And I was going to say the same thing, except with Hexel. I think Hexel would be pretty hilarious on both these teams
Mm-hmm.
as well. So we got Hyper for Mountain, me for Hex, and you for Infernal.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. Let's see who gets it.
After seeing these drafts, who do you guys think is going to win Game 1?
Game 1? Oh,
if BYU does it right, it should be BYU.
BYU,
Okay.
honestly. Dorado Gaming's got to. They have to almost play it perfect.
We know how good they can be. That's the thing. We just have to see if they can execute this kind of comp.
Yeah. I personally, since I like Dorado Gaming's draft, unlike you two, I'm gonna pick them to win this game. I really like their draft, honestly. The only thing I have a problem with is the Jinx. I think they could have picked a stronger AD, but it does pair well with Thresh. I just think Aphelios is just a better pick in this meta. But yeah, I think they'll take Game 1 with this draft. I think they can do it.
All right. So I guess with that being said, we still got a few more seconds before we get into game. So we'll go to our short little, 2-minute break, and we will see you guys on the Rift.
Yeah. All right, welcome to the Rift for game number 1 of BYU versus Dorado Gaming. We have a little bit of interesting drafts for both teams, as we were talking about earlier. We should just see a standard 5-point from both of them as well. Some picks you don't see too often, like Ziggs and Talia anymore. And this top lane matchup should be pretty spicy, as we have 2 heavy carries up there.
Oh, I'm so excited for this top lane matchup. Like,
yeah.
I'm a pretty religious Fiora player when I get the chance to actually play her. It's a lot of fun. She's great. the things you can do with her parry and the combos you can pull off when you're soloing out, their backline. Just the champion has a lot of agency, and the same with Aatrox, because Aatrox is basically Riven 2.0 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he can flippity floppity all around and stuff just like her, and that's kind of the meme is that he's Riven 2.0. But we're
Yeah.
here now. Minions have finally spawned, and looks like that Kindred will be starting on the blue side naturally. Oh, wait, Hyper, we gotta play our other game. Where is the first Kindred? Which side of the map is the first Kindred mark gonna be on?
Oh yeah, I remember this. Oh, all right. So we got. Oh damn, I usually base it off who's stronger at the top or the bot lane.
Top scuttle or bot scuttle?
It's kind of like evenly matched, honestly, in terms of where they want to like play, because they can play either top side or bot side. I'm gonna say top side of the map.
Okay. I've seen Kindred Mark spawn on bot side the last 3 games I've played against Kindred, so I'm gonna go with bot side. Especially since Kindred is pathing up, I think that would suck for them. But I think it'll spawn on bot side this time.
It's 50-50, so we shall see. I'm also gonna go bot side too. It doesn't. I think the first mark the next mark will probably be on top side bot.
Yeah.
The trend, the level 2s here in the bot lane. First Thresh goes on the hook, but it does not hit anybody, so not too much to gain from there. And I'm expecting a little bit of a slow burner until we have some jungle presence coming in. Maybe not so much in the top lane as they will be trading, naturally. And there's the parry I was talking about. I think you saved that on third Q when he's going for that sleeper.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think, just for now, just kind of save it.
Ooh, nice dive in there, Rakan. Got a little cheeky damage. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. If Rakan goes in first, it's a bit hard for him just because Flay can cancel the W partially, at least cancel the dash part of it, as Fiora is going to be winning trades for the first part of this. Like I said in draft, it's a bit of a classic Aatrox counter if the Fiora knows how to play the matchup correctly. If you're ever going to get hit by a sweet spot, you can just react with parry as a hook lands in bot lane.
Nice hook. Oh, nice counter for that too.
Oh no, he's on the trap.
He got stuck in the traps. Ignite is ticking. I think Thresh might have been a little bit too quick hands on that.
Yeah, a little overzealous on the ignited. Zach is looking for a gank in top side. No Q on Bennett as he hits level 4.
Oh, but he hit that sweet spot though. Oh, they're gonna try to do something nice. Barry gonna stun him up.
Zach's
very low. It is gonna be a 2v2 now. Here comes Kindred coming up from behind. First blood going over to Fiora. Are they gonna be able to find the Alpha Cat, the slug, the blob himself, the flash to get out, and a little dash from Kindred? And that is all she wrote, folks.
Yeah, you hope you can at least pop the Zac passive there, just so if you can find another counter gank on one of these other lanes, you can potentially secure the kill there. Unfortunately, they aren't able to get it popped there. They do get both flashes from top jungle. And yeah, going back to that bot lane play where Thresh dropped the ignite fairly early, it was a little overzealous there, trying to go for the kill. Thought the traps were enough as the Aatrox Q lands on a banger as he's going to get collapsed on by mid and jungle. CC lands down to half HP.
My goodness, a flash forced out of Kindred right there. I don't know if Aatrox is going to be able to take this. Getting slowed up, dashing away. Health bars from both junglers super low right there.
Yeah, unfortunately, also the Kindred mark is on the bot side, and we can kind of get to see Zach getting this scuttle. Actually, I thought it kind of would have beelined it.
Oh, what a hook Thresh. He missed the play, but landed the hook.
Wow, that was actually really impressive. But the resets has come in, but no one is going to stop anybody from going for that bot scuttle. I'm actually surprised. So Kindred should be going down for this first mark. I'm hoping so anyways. I'm going to keep watching her for the moment. But overall, the first blood going to the Fiora is a very good start. I mean, the Sheen comes in. That Sheen proc is going to be massive when she hits vitals. Looks like Zach will be taking the lead with the reset, so this mark should be free, but good.
Root landed. Oh, I honestly thought that Rakan was going to jump in there because, Thresh went up to ward, so, leaving Jinx all alone right there.
Yeah, they do have all the summoners available as well, the exhaust and the heal for Jhin and Rakan. No ignite on Thresh, so they could have potentially looked for the trade there. On the last trade, the traps were a little bit
They
wide.
are looking mid lane, though.
Nice
the flash play coming out of Thresh. Nice slow coming out. Hook to top it all off, and Banger has taken the wild card out of the game. Two kills over to Dorado.
He tried to satchel out, too, but it was canceled by the flame. Very impressive work there.
Oh, I don't think... Oh, Banger's trying to invade the Zac right there. taking his Krugs. Oh, what a mean man. He's forced to jump out of there. Takes the Krugs on his way out, too. Ooh.
Fails a few over the wall.
Hey, it happens to the
It's a
best
tough
of us.
wall. It's a tough wall to jump over.
But
Kindred
he is
will
gonna-
be winning 1v1s early for a while. Lanterns
Ooh.
out should be going to
Nice.
safety.
What is she doing? Oh, never
What
mind.
is she doing? Jumps right in onto that Ziggs. Her health bar is getting very low. Zach comes in from over the top of the wall. Wildcard takes her out. Here comes the Talia wall as well. Rakan is here to try to help out, but a nice hook. The Ignite is ticking down. Wildcard does go down to the Talia, and she gets lanterned out. What a fiesta right there we have in the red side jungle.
Yeah, it was really aggressive play. I think Banger might have thought that Matt G was closer on the Talia wall, maybe just overestimating the range on it to follow up on that play. Ends up dying for it. They do get the trade kill over Matt G. He doesn't have to burn his flash just because of the fresh play. So all in all, even play. You don't necessarily want to give kills to the Ziggs that has been set pretty far back in this lane as Matt G grabs his first plate. And I do want to point out this top lane CS difference is growing and growing as this lane goes on, and a plate has been grabbed as well for Bennett. So already having the Sheen and halfway to his what I'm assuming is going to be a Divine Sunder.
Divine Sunder, yeah, I think so too.
You guys don't think Triforce would be the better item?
Oh, you're right. That is an option. It could be Triforce as well.
Yeah.
I just from what I've been seeing and what I've been reading, apparently Triforce is broke right now. So
It's very strong, yeah. Speaking of Trinity Force, I would expect this Kindred to go Trinity Force as well. It's like it's definitely the strongest Kindred build at the moment. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with that, but the Bruiser Kindred is very strong, just as much damage, and obviously way tankier.
Okay.
I mean, I go the Triforce build on Zeri or or Ezreal when I play. So
Yeah.
I mean, I could imagine now that we're talking about Trinity Force, the Kindred pick makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. And speaking of Zeri and Trinity Force, that will no longer be a worthwhile interaction because they're removing the ability to proc Sheen on her Q. So you won't be able to be building Trinity Force on Zeri anymore. So going into 13-12, don't do that if you are currently in next patch because you can't proc Sheen anymore. They're also just completely deleting her passive altogether, which I think is kind of funny. The champion is very overtuned at the moment, but
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
How many times? And then there was that period of time where it was, I think, the end of last year where they got to like nerf the crap out of her, but it didn't matter because itemization was still broke. So.
Yep. Yeah. They're trying to fix her itemization and her power as well. So. Yeah, she's gonna grab Scuttle Kindred's on top side. They may look for a top plate or Herald to cross map this. I don't think. Yeah, it looks like she's going to Herald now. Because we'll just trade Herald for Dragon. I think Herald is a really good objective for Kindred to get early on.
Yeah.
Because with the amount of scaling they have on their side with Fiora, Kindred, and Jinx, you kind of don't need to stack Drakes early, whereas BYU definitely does with the lack of scaling they have. Well, I guess their mid-game power trough is pretty hefty with Ziggs Jhin. Their late game is very powerful, but around 20 minutes, that is definitely where they're at their weakest.
It is not Hextech. It is not Hextech.
It's okay. We'll get him next time. I still am not wrong, and Hyper, your pick is still on the table, so I'm doing well so far. Not wrong in the first Drake 3 games in a row, which is pretty good. Starting off strong.
Oh, does Bennett just dive this?
No, he's just gonna go for plates and leave. Yeah.
Okay. I think they might dive it though.
Yeah, if they drop Herald, they definitely will.
Okay. Aatrox is just gonna jump right onto Bennett. He's gonna pop that
no.
ender, but gets stunned up by the Fury. And the ultimate grand challenge has been done, and he has lost. Oh, another kill over to Fiora.
Yeah, and that's how Fiora versus Aatrox works. Herald is dropped. This tower will die. That'll be first turret blood and two solo plates for Fiora, three shared plates between the two of them, and they should be able to escort this for a second charge as well, as Zach is on the bot side of the map. Aatrox will burn CP to try and stop it. The charge still will go off. They just won't lose their tier 2 turret for this play. And no matter how low Fiora is in the 1v1 with Aatrox, if that Q3 goes down, you're almost guaranteed to get stun off the parry. And Grand Challenge is great. Unfortunately, wasn't able to, or Dux Vic wasn't able to get close enough to the wall to stop that right side Vital. Was able to get the ult off. And a really clean tower dive altogether.
Yeah, we're 10 minutes into the game now. We're cresting it over, and right now Dorado have a 4,000 gold lead at almost 10 minutes into the game. They're in a very, very strong position right now. And look at the gold lead right now. It looks like the Jinx
over the top of the wall, the roof, the curtain. Efron, please take your ticket and go right to the bouncing.
Yeah, he's getting a bit greedy there, trying to get the wave. Wave's in a really bad spot for him. They know Zach is on the bot side of the map. He just thinks he might go for a mid play instead. When you're alone in bot lane and you know the junglers are on the side, you kind of need to hug your tower regardless of where the wave is. That does now put him close to 30 CS down in this bot lane. But if you are jinxing this game, I think you're pretty happy looking at where your top side is sitting at currently.
I think so.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Go for it, Freak.
I was just gonna say, I mean, you're kind of relying on your top laner to do everything right now. So it is the Sunder build, I guess. Not Triforce, but it is Sunder instead. Even with the
Sunder is definitely your most popular item right now. The only issue with Triforce is if it's 5 squishy champions or reasonably squishy champions, you can do it. But with Zac and Aatrox having a lot of lifesteal, you kind of just need the % pen to get through the armor he's going to be building because he has the Bramble Vest he will be building.
Oh my god.
Steel caps, and this damage is insane as Aatrox has to pop his ult and he gets out. Doesn't connect for the tower dive.
That was insane.
Yeah, fully completed Sunder. It's no items basically on Aatrox is definitely a mismatch 1v1.
I do like the respect that Fiora gave backing off right there.
I mean, any average Fiora player would have been like, I'm diving this, but this is not your average Fiora player.
Yeah.
So we do have Zac here in the bot lane, and I was going to comment just real quick right before that even though Efren did die in that play in the bot lane, so, you know, whatever, alone, Jinx dies, you know, immobile 80 carry, no big deal.
Yeah.
The thing is what is going on top lane, actually?
Oh, man. Aatrox is just trying to defend this tower with, like, everything he's got.
Yeah, he really needs Zac to come up and help, which it looks like he's doing now. It's just, at this point, when Fiora even gets 1 kill, it's bad, but when Fiora's this far ahead, the 1v1 just snowballs further and further. Also, especially when you don't have flash advantage, it's really hard to fight for this 1v1. Zac's actually going mid, so he's guaranteed 1v1 still.
And she's just positioning these Q1s and Q2s kind of perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
It's very well done. It's not something we see every day in Emerging League. I mean, most Fiora players that we see in solo queue typically are the more, I'm gonna play by myself, always go in, and if I die 15 times, it's my team's fault. But not in this case, based off what we're seeing right now. Bennett is playing very controlled, applying so much pressure every single time, not allowing Aatrox to do too much in this matchup at all, even with the abilities to get used. Oh
nice. He's starting to chunk her down pretty well, I do gotta say.
Yeah. Aatrox has really good poke, but as soon as Fiora goes for the all-in, it'll definitely look a lot more one-sided, and she's just kind of sitting here taking CS, growing her CS lead. And speaking of CS leads, it's a 35 CS lead in bot lane. Stormrazor completed for both of these 80 carries, and Triforce is completed for Kindred, which is what I thought.
Oh, the flash
hook does land.
Rakan takes the shot, and we're gonna have a fight break out right here. Here comes Super Mega Death Rocket. It doesn't do much. Kindred ult is gonna be saving them for a little bit, but here comes Leo from the other side of the river. The curtains are calling, but no one has falling. What else are we gonna have left in the tank? We do not know, because BYU is getting blown out of the water. Double kill to the Jinx.
I think Jin dies here too, actually.
Yes,
Yeah, Matt G picks up another
actually
one on the bottom side, and a wildcard's just going to try and run for his life. As Bennett's going to be chasing him down. Does have flash available, shouldn't follow up as this Drake should be free for them, and just really bad timing on the Ziggs ultimate there. It lands right on top of the Kindred ult, and no one takes any damage because they're already really low. Banger doesn't even have to blow his flash in that fight either. Still has that available for next fight. Matt G really good follow up with the ultimate to make it a 4v3, and I thought it initially looked really bad for Dorado Gaming, but they played the fight really well and ended up taking a 3-for-0 and the dragon.
Wildcard looking really bad right here. Flash from the Kindred, dodging that Q, but here comes Rakan. He's gonna be able to pick up Kindred on the backside. MATG's got like such little health. How much health has he got? That's gonna be like 10 HP, right?
20
wow,
HP.
it's like 20 HP.
Oh,
here
no, the Aatrox is here.
And he's looking for a paycheck, and he got it. Shut down over to the Aatrox.
Well, I mean, hey, on the one hand, I mean, that resets his gold value. That gives him a 500 gold, or not 500 gold, but an extra 200 gold for that shutdown to finish his Eclipse. I'm assuming he's building, because I think that's still the standard build right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, that puts him a little better than what he was before. I mean, still down the over 30 CS, but and at some point, someone's got to enter this Fiora, right? Because she's just going to push all that in. How many marks does Kindred have right now, if we can check real quick?
She should have close to, she has 6, yeah. So
wow.
if she does get this top mark on this blue buff, that'll put her at a very strong power spike, as she'll be grabbing a red buff right now. They should look for a Herald play here. It should be 4v4 as Matt G goes back to the bot lane. Dux Vic does have his base timer off first, so it could be a 5v4. Wildcat's trying to find Bennett in the bush, is able to blast cone over.
I think
Just
they're going to
grab
be
this top
setting
wave.
up as 5 for BYU, just from
Mhm.
the way that Aatrox is pathing. Looks like Ziggs might be catching the wave, trying to keep Fiora from shoving them in.
Yep.
Which is pretty smart, but he's got to be careful.
Matt G does have TP available as well, so it could be
Yeah.
a 5v5 if he does find a TP ward, which they don't have any set up right now, except in this mid-river brush. So they might look for a play
But they
here
might
on
be
mid
looking
lane.
for a pick. Here comes the Hex Flash over the top of the wall. Lantern comes. Here comes the Kindred. What a beautiful hook that was, trying to keep his ADC alive. They got the root. The Super Mega Death Rocket's going to go wide, but it does not matter. 2 fall in the mid lane. And we look like we're going to have a top kind of scuffle break out there towards the end of that.
It looked like it was for a moment, but I mean, Jin and Rakan just unlucky. I mean, Jin just not being mobile at all. I mean, the second Thresh goes in, I mean, Kindred's there to follow with the Lantern. They picked them up pretty easily, and I mean, no flash on Jin. Of course, they're going to punish that. Rakan had to burn flash, but still ended up going down.
Yep.
And all in the meanwhile, Matt G was split pushing that whole time, got the bot lane tier 1, and Fiora still doing Fiora things, as we know, and Dorado is in a pretty good position right now in the game. Let's see, we're 16 minutes in.
Just picked up another
That should
mark.
be 7. That should be her 7th or maybe potentially 8th mark. 7th mark, yeah. So that is a huge
I
spike
think she's
for
just
her.
going to jump onto the Zac right there. Yeah, he does, but the ultimate popped by the Rakan, and here comes 4 members now.
And
It's
Trust
going to be a
available.
breakout here on the red side jungle. A nice ultimate keeping him alive, and Zac as well. But he ultimately falls down. The bull shot from that curtain call does go wide, does not follow anything up.
Oh, wow.
Talia
what a
just
stun.
a huge amount of damage. Wildcard goes down as well. Dorado Gaming just picking these fights in the jungle and getting away with it too.
Yeah,
Who's
part of
better?
it is their great execution in these fights. The other part of it is BYU going for plays that they think they can, but they just don't have the gold to go for it. Alphabet Cat doesn't even have his passive or flash available, so ends up getting caught there. Great W by Matt G to end up picking out Wildcard as well, as we have a 1v1 in the top lane. Grand Challenge dropped.
And so does World Ender. Forced to flash so that last Vital doesn't get hit, but he's just trying to take him right back to the tower. One more tower shot should do it, but it does not matter. The parry's going to stun him up, and BB Bennett gets away with the crime.
No shot, dude. There's no way he could have lived through that. But the vital healing from each of the vitals that he hit just did dividends absolutely in that fight. The Rebel that's not doing enough. They're positioning for this Herald right now, and Alphabet is where. This should be able to potentially engage. Fiora is not there, but does have TP.
Stops the channel. The nice Ziggs bomb. They get a little bit of vision on it, but they decide to opt out of it. I like it.
Yeah, they know Bennett has DP, they know Efron has Flash, and so does Koyesh, so it's a pretty hard engage to go for. You don't have Zac passive, don't have Zac ultimate. It's really risky to go for. Thankfully, they give it, and that now puts us just heading towards 20 minutes now at a 10k gold deficit for BYU.
Man, it is rough right now for BYU.
Most of it's in the jungle. Well, actually in the jungle and mid lane.
Can we toggle red side vision real fast? I just want to point something out for you guys.
They have amazing bot side vision right now, yeah.
Like, the vision that they got on the bot side is kind of incredible. They see every entryway to that drag pit. By the way, boys, it is Mountain Soul.
I know. You don't gotta rub it in.
I just saw it.
You don't gotta rub it in, buddy.
Good
call by you is
get everything right, but a fight breaking out here in the jungle.
Oh, there it is. I don't know how well this is going to go for the rest of the team because Zac is getting very low. So is Jin. Zac passive does go off, but it does not matter. The blob goes down.
And that should be Dragon secured for them as the curtain call trying to get some chip damage. Bennett might get collapsed on here as he is split pushing while they're taking an objective.
I mean, we just saw what Bennett did under tower in a 1v1. I don't see a 1v3 going any different.
He does have Grand Challenge available, so just no flash, so it could be a little risky. Ends up backing off.
Yeah, I think without flash, you don't go for that kind of really risky play, especially when you don't know where everybody is. I mean, maybe they saw Jin and Rakan moving over, but I think still respecting the fact that you are really deep on their side of the map, not anticipating the potential of a more people showing up. Like Zac right now could ruin this whole day. Wildcard in a weird position.
Yeah, he is. He's gonna get blown up too. Banger doing a lot of damage right there. Flash is coming out, both out from the mid laner and the jungle. But a mid lane fight right there. They managed to pick up the Talia, but again, but Jin got it this time. I saw Talia's kill figure, and I saw Rakan, and I was like, oh no, not again.
They're gonna open up the base here though. It's either gonna be Fiora that does it or
And it's
Oh,
just
she's
tower
looking to do
diving
it.
Aatrox. Oh my goodness. She can take that next
Ooh,
vital right there
dodges
should
the
be enough to
button.
heal her.
oh, but she didn't get it.
She's letting it time out. She's letting World Ender time out.
Yeah. She's fine with letting Grand Challenge timeout if it means World Ender is not available, because that makes the one
Oh,
super
everyone
easy.
did.
Oh,
That's
and
what
Herald
also kind of
dropped.
just stalling for time.
Yep.
First Nexus tower is down. Nice hook
Gets
by
the
the
charge
Thresh.
off.
Oh, what a nice ultimate from the Ziggs,
good
keeping
ult.
it back. Oh my goodness, BB Bennett falls right back into line with that Kindra ultimate, gets a lot of health back. Here comes Efron just laying down the siege with those rockets. I don't know how Dorado Gaming is doing this, but they managed to take both Nexus turrets now. And looking like they might try to end the game right here.
It's barely
Yeah.
20 minutes. It's 21 minutes, and the game might be over in the next like 45 seconds. This is insane. Oh, they're low. Okay, never mind.
Great, very good
parry
flash.
right there is going to be able to save him. Efron is doing a lot of damage with
Oh,
those
no.
clampers.
Good
Efron falls
ball.
to one shot. Oh, Banger's going to get slowed up, misses the third, and it goes wide on the fourth. They managed to save their base, but what is it all for at this point?
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Great Herald play in the bot lane. They picked up the tier 3 tower, the inhibitor, and both Nexus towers because Bennett was able to buy a ton of time. And that puts him at 2.5 items. It looks like he's going for Hellbreaker last year and just right-click in top lane for the rest of this game, as Kindred now has the Black Cleaver available as well. Full Seraph's completed for Matt G on the Talia. Gale Force now completed for Efron. The item advantage is just growing and growing. 14k gold deficit for BYU at 22 minutes here, and
22 minutes.
one more fight should seal it for Dorado Gaming.
I don't even think they need to fight, honestly. They could kind of just force it down mid lane or top lane if they wanted to.
I don't think they even need to really force anything because it's not much of a force with their gold lead at this point. It's just kind of just staring menacingly, as Patrick says in SpongeBob. That's literally all they have to do to them at this point. They're instantly already a threat. The item advantage is too fat. The gold advantage is just too fat. They could even do Baron if they wanted to just for BM. I mean, honestly,
I think Kindred could probably 1v1 the Baron at this point.
Yeah, the clean play for them would be going for Baron, have Fiora split in this bot lane, which it looks like they're trying to go for, although they'll go for a fight here first. It is a 4v4
Oh,
Ziggs in the
Banger's
bot
gonna
lane.
fall into 4 members of the side of BYU. She does not have her ultimate, but she got to the Lantern. Finally,
What?
takes one
Great
out
run.
on the way. Oh, that Jin's health.
Fiora isn't in
very
the game,
low.
by the way.
Leo Wall's coming through. She jumps onto the Jin, and the Jin falls
Fiora
down.
is in.
Here comes Banger finding that Aatrox. He falls down. And Dorado Gaming are knocking the pins down on BYU left and right. BB Bennett down here in the bot lane, just shoving his ultimate will into the Nexus because they can't do anything to stop it. And game 1 over Dorado Gaming.
It's a 15,000 gold lead at 23 minutes.
Oh, they're kind of BMing right there. Just hit the Nexus, boys.
They're trying to find a kill, trying to find the death sentence onto last one to try and pick up an extra kill. 6 kills to 23 kills, 15k gold deficit. And a very clean game 1, really good team fighting, and just super strong performance from the top side of Dorado Gaming.
Absolutely. I mean, they're all the way down the map. I mean, top mid jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely insane. 2-0-2 in the Fiora, 9-2, 11 on the Kindred. But I mean, that's kind of expected with how Fiora works, and just looking across the board and just like how far ahead that they were. I mean, it wasn't fair. That game wasn't fair.
Yeah.
You know that meme that's all over Twitter, coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb? That's what that felt like.
Yeah, that was oh, hold on, I'm getting a call.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead,
it's the police.
Yeah.
It's the police.
Oh.
That was a murder. We witnessed a murder on screen. That was wow.
That was a good one. That was a good one. I was not expecting that.
That is insane. I gotta point out though, Thresh did not die.
No.
Yeah, deathless on Thresh. Yeah,
Excuse me?
deathless on Fiora as well. Only 2-0-2 in that game, but a absolute boatload of pressure was applied in that top lane. This Aatrox was not able to go anywhere this whole game, just locked in and just jailed almost in that top lane. And when a Kindred starts to get rolling and is able to do the kind of damage in these risky fights that they're taking and is able to live, with the exception of that one play in mid lane that we saw, you know the game's a little bit out of control when that stuff starts happening.
Yeah, I mean, even Zach himself, he couldn't even walk into his jungle. I mean,
Yeah.
Banger would just come over the top of the wall, smite the camp he was working on already, and then just clean the Zach up. Like it was it was a slaughter. Like, wow.
Yeah.
That was nuts. I really don't have any closing thoughts. I'm looking at the damage charts that we have right now.
Yeah.
Kindred did
Yeah.
23,000 damage.
Mm-hmm.
I have no words. I mean, it's like I said at the beginning of the first game. We have seen Dorado be good
Yes.
in every iteration that we have seen, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
Risen, SCL, maybe even Victorous if they have a team there.
Yeah.
It's just they're insane. Like no matter what iteration of this team it is, and
Yeah, no
Mm-hmm.
kidding.
honestly, who's better, Dorado gaming Omega or which one was it last week? Lambda last
Delta.
week?
Delta.
Or Delta? Who's better? I mean,
Uh,
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
ah,
given how
know.
these two teams are
Delta
playing, we
Delta
might see
lost
them
game
meet up in
one, so
playoffs.
Delta
For all
lost
we
in
know.
game one last week.
So, I mean, yeah, both teams started off 2-0, I believe, and potentially we'll see after this week if they can keep that streak going as well. But I would imagine we'll see both of them in playoffs come the end of the season, and they might even end up facing off each other in a bit of friendly fire come quarterfinals or semifinals. And
It's gonna be
are there any thoughts about draft options? Any bans you'd like to see going into game two?
Kindred.
carry
Yeah,
jung- I don't know if there's enough bans for Banger. I mean, if he can play
need a
Kindred like
few.
this,
Mm-hmm.
just think of potential other carry junglers that he
It's
could.
Oh
more of
yeah,
a what can you stand?
just a respect ban. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what out of all of the junglers he can perform on, what is the
Mm-hmm.
one you feel more confident dealing with? That's the
Yeah.
question you have to ask going into game two.
Yeah.
We'll find out. That's for sure.
Because that's all you got to do. If he can play this way with everyone, then which one would you rather have is the better question. But
Yeah.
we're gonna get right into game two here in a little bit. Give us a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just like get everything ready here on stream, and we will see you guys when draft starts up.
Yep. Okay. Oh wow. Yeah. I mean, that was a crazy game.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see if they can keep it up going into game two. We'll see what changes both teams will make, if any, for either side as we get draft set up right now. I'll see you guys on the other side. They're starting bans. We'll see what they go with.
All right. I really hope they give the jungler the respect ban on the Kindred. Personally,
I think so too. But they swap sides, so Dorado will be on the blue side this time. BYU will be
all
on the
right.
red side. Now
So we still got the Rek'Sai ban.
got the red side.
Still got the Xayah. We still got the Hecarim. Still got the Caitlyn. Do we switch it up?
Do they have
Game
an
plan.
They
Okay.
should do something here. Whether it's the Fiora or the Kindred, it could be either one of those. Probably the Kindred, most likely.
Kindred, yeah. I mean, we could talk about how great that Fiora was, but Fiora was just was a counter pick.
She was doing.
So-
She was on her in her own La La Land up there. She was
Yeah,
doing
I
what
mean,
she does.
if you're gonna ban any of those champs, Kindred, honestly, because Fiora's just playing the matchup.
Yeah.
Because that's either one, you know, whether it's Aatrox popping off for Fiora. You going to bed, gorgeous?
we first
going to
picking
bed?
it.
All right, give me a kiss. Give me a kiss.
Good night, son.
Mwah, I
Um,
love you.
But we have a first pick, Ash, which is I gotta say is very interesting. And the response with the Viego, and absolutely nutter. If I'm being admittedly honest.
I'm curious to see how Dardo's gonna feel about this Viego pick. Because
really-
one of my old coaches, well, no, my first coach actually, uh, when he was going through teaching us like about team fights and whatnot.
Mhm.
And we started throwing out champs that we want to play, like to play. I threw out Ash, and he's like, "All right,
Pantheon.
cool. That's your like sub pick. I like the Pantheon." And then our jungler said Viego, and he said, "You will never play Viego with me ever." I was like, "Oh my god."
All right, I'm already concerned for BYU because I told you these Dorado junglers are very good at carries, and I think we had a Nidalee last. Or no, me and I was casting SCLA, and me and Lam had someone pick Nidalee. This dude would not miss spears. So this kind of okay, and they lock it in. So this is absolutely 100% someone that can play this champion. These are going to be either really nasty spears, or these are going to be Yankos level spears, and everyone who watches at least will know what I'm talking about. And
Okay,
potentially Nico as well. This is
so
gross.
Dorado Gaming's. So when I see first pick Ash come out, I kind of get nervous.
Tom Kench, okay.
And we follow it up with an Italy and a Tom Kench, and I'm like, ooh, actually, I kind of like it now.
Yeah, it's pretty much utility. That's all they're going to use Ash for. She's not going to be looking
I
to
mean,
Shaco?
I don't know what I feel. How I feel. Is that the support?
Maybe it could be.
We
Pantheon.
have 3 junglers on the side of BYU right now. I just want to point that out.
I don't know what the plan is. I'm not sure what the Morgana ban is for. I mean, potentially they already have their support pick here, unless it is Tom
Black
Kench.
Shield.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it could be Tom Kench top to be fair. So I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around where the Shaco and Pantheon are going to go. Viego is 100% going in the jungle. There's no doubt about
I've
it.
seen him go top lane. I'm gonna be real.
Okay, never mind. That is a potential.
We're looking at 3 flex picks.
Yeah,
That's what we're looking at.
Jin's banned away, which is interesting. Fiora
Okay,
also being
Fiora's.
banned away. I'm not surprised. It's just like we said. It's just she was playing the matchup very well. Whether
Yeah.
or not Bennett can play any other carries, which I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, maybe I'm feeling an Aurelia angle, but that's just
I'm
me.
kind of feeling a Camille angle, honestly.
One of the two of them. I like both options. But
I'm feeling Camille with the Tom Kench
why are
and
we
the
banning
Nidalee
Samira for? Actually, Samira is set up really well with Pantheon and Shaco, so actually
and
I
Viego. I could see it.
yeah, I could actually see that's a pretty good ban. Because in my head I was like,
Okay,
oh
Zoe.
god.
Okay, we know where Zoe's going.
So it's either Shaco or Pantheon support. Okay.
Actually, no. Zoe could be a flex too. I've seen a lot of Zoe support recently.
Why are people playing Zoe? You know what? I'm not gonna question it. I'm not going
Stop.
to question it. Yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna question anything. I just apparently I'm behind the curve and what people are playing in weird lanes. So there's that. And Akali being hovered right now would
Okay.
the pretty good matchup into the Zoe because Zoe is really bad into I want to be in your face champions, and Akali is one of the most perfect ones. Unless you swap it
Uh,
and pick Twisted Fate out of nowhere, but
what
okay.
is the draft turning into? Yo, what
When
is
was the
it?
last time? When was the last time we even saw Twisted Fate and Warwick being hovered? They're not gonna lock that. Please don't do that.
Warwick is a solo queue champ. There's no way they lock it in, right?
I don't think so.
Warwick
Unless,
top lane?
well, no, hold on. I was also thinking more along the lines of they locked it in. Holy crap! I was thinking more along the lines of the old draft legendary tank Nidalee top. That is a wild, very small possibility, but it's most likely.
Okay, hear me out. Ash support, Nidalee ADC.
Oh God, that sounds weird.
I'm trying to wrap my head around this one.
It's a very interesting draft. Don't pick the Scion.
Okay, we have a top laner. We have a top laner. It's confirmed. Ladies and gentlemen, it is confirmed. There is a top laner for sure on the side of BYU. I don't know about everybody else though. Darter. Go ahead and let
It's
my man.
Zoe 80 carry. It's Zoe 80 carry. I'm 100% sure it's Zoe 80 carry, and I can say that with confidence because they played it last week. So I know that Zoe is bot lane. Their bot laner is a Zoe one trick who normally plays mid lane. So that Zoe is 100% going in the bot lane. With what I don't know, but it's definitely going down there. I think it's Pantheon mid, Viego jungle, maybe Shaco, Zoe bot, and Sion top. But that Zoe is definitely going bot lane. I can tell you that for sure.
So as soon as we see the Zoe lock in, Darter he just instantly messages me. That's ADC. That's ADC.
It is. It is. It's 100. I can guarantee you, as soon as we get in game, it's definitely Zoe to carry for sure. It is. Both of these drafts are off the charts, by the way. I
They are
did like
crazy.
the Nico hover from Dorado Gaming. The only issue with that is I would have liked it to see it go support with Ashe,
Okay.
not in a solo lane,
That'd be
just
obnoxious.
because pairing Nidalee with AP solo lanes is a bit rough because she kind of likes a lot of AD and being
Diego
one of the solo
mid.
AP.
Okay. So
So
Warwick top, Nidalee jungle, Twisted Fate
yeah,
mid,
and then it's
Diego
TK
mid.
Ashe bot, I would
TK
assume.
Ash bot. Okay.
Yeah, and then with BYU, it should be Viego jungle, Pantheon mid, Sion
It's
top,
not
and Shaco
It
Zoe
is
bot
the
lane.
Viego.
other way around. Sion top, Shaco jungle, Viego mid. What?
Okay.
I'm trying to
Okay.
wrap my head around it, and I know
But
Stream
yeah,
was
like
watching
I
me have
said, it's Zoe ADC for sure, which it is.
Stream was
Um,
watching me have a crisis right now because I'm like,
yeah,
what is this?
yeah,
I understand the Scion and I understand the Shaco, but why are we putting Viego mid?
yeah. Viego mid is something that we saw last year in
Zoe
spring.
ADC. What
I
the?
told you, it's Zoe AD carry.
Oh my goodness.
100%
Okay.
it's Zoe ADC. But yeah, Viego solo lane is not as strong as it used to be before, like last year or 2 years ago summer when Viego
Yeah,
top and Viego mid were being played a lot and it was a flex pick. They nerfed him out of solo lanes, so you can still play it, but it's not very good. He's still good in jungle. I did like the Viego pick, but them putting it mid lane makes me not really like it because it has a tough time into Twisted Fate to begin with, just because it's melee versus ranged matchups, and early on it just kind of lets Twisted Fate lane, which you don't really want to do.
no.
Which is why I would assume the Pantheon would go mid, just because that's something that can punish it. Um, but yeah, both these drafts are completely off the charts, and like honestly, this is as far away from standard as you can get, aside from Scion top. Really, everything
Trying to
else here
get my head
is
around it.
just
I
completely.
just looked over at the stream and Freak and I have the exact same like pose and look on our face. It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
our our one brain cell is trying to like do the 40 chess in our mind to see how
yeah.
like this works out because
They
I can't see.
they
I
want to
can't
give us
see.
content. They want to give us content. I can tell you that much because
That's
that's only explanation for these drafts. I'll tell you that, because if I was
yeah.
the coach and my players were asking to draft this, I'd have
There's
a few
no
words. I'd have a few
way.
words.
I would
I'd have a
no, I
few
wouldn't
words. Yeah,
either.
I'd have a few
There's no
words.
way.
Well,
Like if we wanted to do something goofy, then okay, I'm
That's
for
one thing.
goofy.
That's one thing.
I'm
But
all for doing goofy. This is
this is a little bit. This is a few steps past goofy in my opinion. But we'll see if they can pull it off. I mean, Dorado Gaming's draft is a little bit closer to standard. Like Tom Kench is a support pick. Ashe is, in my opinion, not very good in the AD carry role right now. But I know
yeah.
Efron plays
No.
it, so it's one of his comfort champions. So that doesn't surprise me too much. And again, Nidalee with AP solo lanes is not great, but Nidalee is still fairly good in the meta. I would have liked to
Well,
see some more setup there. But it's a fine draft, and BYU's draft is all over the place. You have 3 junglers pretty much, and then a mid laner and a top laner, all of which are off role except for Shaco and Pantheon support, I guess, and obviously Sion. But
the
yeah,
only thing,
it's a
I
bit
mean,
crazy.
the only thing,
looking at Ash actually makes sense.
the only thing
It's first pick. It's a first pick.
it is first
Yeah,
pick, yeah.
It was
yeah,
first pick, but seeing the way that BYU picked, like it probably is gonna work really
yeah,
well.
yeah.
The one thing that I'm currently stuck on at the moment is, and I will continue to be stuck on this. They do have 2 bruisers on the side, Pantheon and Viego. Pantheon
Mhm,
probably go more lethality-ish
mhm.
type build. But I'm not seeing now that I'm thinking about it, not very many options of Nidalee just to blow someone up except just the
No,
Zoe. So there is a potential chance that this draft is absolutely big brain
yeah,
and our little one brain cell cannot just like put
mhm.
on what they're cooking. I mean,
I didn't
Yeah,
they're
think of
doing
that.
something in the kitchen right now. They're doing something.
Yeah, what I see in this draft is nothing that can kill Tom Kench and Warwick for them,
Yeah.
really, other than Viego. So if Viego dies, I think their draft kind of falls apart. But if they can find a pick, get Viego resets, and play these fights, because Dorado Gaming's very squishy aside from TK and Warwick, and since Tom Kench is in support, he doesn't have the same level of gold access that he normally would in top lane, so he's not going to be like a 5-item Tom Kench you're dealing with. So could work. It's a bit crazy. We'll head for a little bit of a break here, collect ourselves, and you guys can collect yourselves, and
Yeah.
we'll get in game and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see you guys for game 2 on the Rifts.
Goodness gracious me, great balls of fire. We are here for game 2. I still can't wrap my head around this draft. I am DBZ Freak 2 with Hyper and Darter Wolf alongside me. We also didn't do Dragon Soul, so we're not going to do Cloud because we see that's the first one. So Darter, make it quick, go first.
Camtech Drake.
Okay, Hyper?
Ocean Drake.
They're both invading! They're both invading!
Let's go!
I want to know if both of them sit in wait, or if only one of them does. It looks like BYU is trying to sit in the bush. I don't know which one they're going to choose. Alphabet Cat pinged to one of them.
I'm also going to, before we go too far,
they're going to meet. They're going to meet right there. They're going to meet right there.
It's going to be a banger level 1.
They saw. We got a wild card. Getting hit by that wild card, gonna get stumped up. Ooh, that would have been funny though if they managed not to see them and just like sneak into that bush right there. Yellow card coming out. They are gonna manage to hit that Scion. He's getting poked down a little bit.
Oh my
really
God.
Nice clean spear coming out from the jungler, and just
another gold card.
Barrage of damage coming out level 1.
Oh, well, that was close.
That was so close.
Can we see what ability Pantheon started? Because I think if he started W, it would have been definitely favored towards them. He did, so I'm surprised he didn't go for it. Because Pantheon W level 1 is very strong. Probably not.
Didn't want to burn flash. Yeah,
but,
that actually.
Yeah. And this is the mid lane matchup I was talking about. It's not going to be fun for Viego, and he was already poked out to begin with.
No,
so after that shenanigans, we have a normal start for both junglers. We'll see them both path up towards this Bruiser top lane. And Warwick top, as much as it's like off meta, Warwick top with barrier is something that you see some people pick a lot of. Like a lot of Warwick 1 tricks will do this sort of thing. It is very good into tanks, as you can see.
Bennett just kind of taking that right there.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is that the bot lanes are coming back late, so Zelda Girl actually had to back because she was so low. Unfortunately, she will be missing, I guess, about 2 of the CS right now, so she is in a decent spot, but will be behind in terms of tempo. We see level 2 will be coming up soon for the bot lane of Dorado. It will not happen for them, which means they'll already be on the back foot, which is unfortunate, to be completely honest. But I mean, they should try to speedrun it as fast as they can. Animated here, so
they hit level 2 at the same time, at least.
It got hit too, but Zoe did not.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, she missed the first few melees of XP, so Bingo was able to hit level 2 off the first melee of the second wave, but Zelda Girl, unfortunately, is going to be a little bit behind on XP, so she'll be zoned off these creeps.
I mean, she doesn't have to get the gold, but I think she could have still, walked up to get the XP right there.
Push the mid.
Oh, what a clean gold card.
Misses.
2 flashes coming out. It is now a 2v2 here in the mid lane. Really nice spear, really nice stun, and first blood going right over to that Shaco. He's going to pick up that Twisted Fate, lands the gold card, gets enough damage down, but that Nidalee damage is just really strong.
Okay, got it.
What a crazy trade. Manages to get the gold card right there at the end. It is a 2-for-1 in favor of BYU.
I got worried there for a second. But wow, absolutely nuts. And honestly, I would say kind of an outplay by the Viego in that one.
Yeah.
Unfortunate that the trade does go back in Nidalee's pocket, so she will have the blasting one now, which means those spears are going to start hurting a little bit.
Yeah.
But just really impressive and really good heads-up play to take the TF bot to get the gold card top lane. Does he kill him here?
Oh, BB Bennett kind of just running all over that. A little boy flash right there, and that's what that was.
A little boy just need to flash just far enough so if he goes for the full Q, he'll follow you under towers. So
yeah,
I would flash a little bit further than that, but it's far enough to save him there.
Oh, but the Shaco finds Bennett with low health. I don't think he gets the fear. He does get the fear. The ignite is ticking down. I don't know if he gets his kill though.
One more E.
Bennett has flash available.
Oh, man, yeah, you hate to see it.
That was unlucky.
Okay. Bennett actually was looking for the re-engage on the Q, but he was out of range to actually go for it, so we might have been able to see a 1v1 as Tomkins goes in, misses the W.
Oh, Nidalee's gonna go down here. Really big damage. Forced to flash through the wrong side of the jungle right there. That arrow is giving us enough damage. Dark Harvest proc from the Nidalee, and Banger just banging away on the Zoe. Goes down in his own jungle.
What is it with Dorado Gaming and Nidalee players and like Nidalee?
I've seen like carry junglers only. That's it's a lot more fun that way. And I mean, top lane CS is looking a bit rough for Vic here, as he's already fallen down to 14 CS due to a lot of the heavy trading minutes going for Kyoto's land.
Oh, really nice stun.
Also, I would like to point out, despite the early kill, mid lane CS is looking very dire. Part of that's because of the death. There's a few stacked wave there, and but yeah, he's down just about double farm to match.
I mean, he's playing the range matchup as well as you can. You know, let the mid laner push it into your tower, and then start going for your all-ins.
Yeah. Try to trade back under tower, try to get your last hits. You're gonna go down some farm, but as long as you don't die solo,
it's
it
gonna
should
be
okay.
a 2v2 here in the top lane. A nice fear coming out from the Warwick, but that does not matter because the fear coming out from that Shaco. Kill going over to the Scion.
No
Banger's
flash.
trying to hop away, being that
careful.
cat that she is. But here comes TF, gold card for the win. Nidalee picks up one. They're looking for the Scion. They get a really nice spear. He gets the knockup. He gets the shield, but he goes down in the end. Twisted Fate picks that one up. It is a 3 versus 2 in the top lane, and they walk away only down 1.
Yeah, great play by Matt G there. As soon as he popped 6 on that mid wave, he uses his ult top lane. Wildcard doesn't have the level of push to really punish that and get a plate. He will look potentially for a roam down here in bot lane. I don't think they're diveable at all at the moment, just looking to get some vision potentially as a walk back here. And they will swap bot to top for these next few waves. After they get these crashes in, they should most likely swap back. And the solo lanes now are looking definitely in the favor of Dorado Gaming after that roam. Even though Bennett did die, he's still ahead a lot of gold. And we might see a gank again by Alphabet Cat here in the mid lane.
Oh,
he doesn't know
nice
he's there.
engage from BB Bennett, and he got baited right by Wildcard. A nice spear coming out. It is a nice 2v2. It is going in favor of Dorado Gaming. BB Bennett's damage is just too much for that Viego to handle.
I actually thought that when Bennett missed the ulti and hit the Shaco instead, that Wildcard would be able to clean that kill up, but unfortunately, actually does not have any damage whatsoever, so it kind of makes sense it went the way it did. Really unfortunate, I gotta say. And it's just so unlucky. I mean, I feel like, and this is of course 100% opinion, I honestly think maybe instead of Viego, Silas would have been a better pick here, especially with TF, if you could just steal his ult. Because TF will have so much map presence no matter what. It doesn't matter. He will always have map presence when his ultimate is up. And unfortunately, when you have something that can answer that, especially with no teleport on the Viego, just TF will just be there in clutch situations, and your Viego won't be in a
Oh my god, these top players just beating each other down like that. I like it. I think Scion could have just gone in right there.
I think Scion could have, yeah.
He does have the ultimate available.
He can win that 100%.
He's got his ult.
Wait, what happened? Oh, I just saw him before.
Bennett followed the Q. Gets hit by the Q
just
himself.
ult, just ult. You got it. He doesn't do it.
Yeah, just doesn't have the confidence to go in there. I don't think he realizes that Infinite Duress is down. Alphabet Cat looks like he's getting caught in his own jungle.
Yeah, he is, and he's gonna fall down. Twisted Fate manages to get that last auto off, but that exhaust coming through, the stun gonna stop him. But bingo, bango, there goes the TF down for the count.
Yeah, tries to walk back towards Tom Kench. Tom Kench does not have Devour available as he's not level 6 yet, so he can't save his Twisted Fate. They should get the Dragon off of this, although after the cat, he does have a short respawn timer. Wildcard getting dove onto, half
Wildcard just
HP.
dove right on top of by that jungler right there. Really nice spear coming out, flash coming through, and here comes that ultimate
shot. Oh my god.
Wildcard manages to take out the jungler.
Super greedy.
Ults right over into that mid lane. Efron forced to pop that cleanse. And I don't know how BYU did it, but they found light at the end of the tunnel and forced him off the dragon.
Yeah, Banger being super greedy going for that dive when you know Viego has the ultimate available. There's a really quick turn that he can do. Efron getting hit by the box might be able to steal. Gets hit by the bubble. There could be a pick here. 1k HP, Smite should come through.
Smite going through, really nice secure.
Inferno, okay. Good thing I didn't guess Inferno because I want Chemtech, so let's see.
Alright, Freak, let's hear it, man. I want your thoughts on that mid lane fiasco right there. After this 2v2 finish,
about to have another mid lane fiasco.
Just hit him for his money right there and found the right one too.
Yeah, he gets the right one because it's still marked by Nidalee, so he knows which one is the right one. So that's unfortunate. That's the unfortunate part of Shaco and a Nidalee matchup is if you don't let the mark expire before you get your clone out, it's guaranteed they'll get the right one, which is a little bit unfortunate. Still, really good play by them to actually find that, seeing Alphabet Cat overextended, and that puts Banger into a really good spot. Although he did misplay in mid lane, he is still 4-2, does have Sork Shoes, does have 2 stacks on his Dark Seal now, does have the Blasting Wand, is very much ahead in camps if you look at the treats there. As Bennett and will just look to trade permanently in this matchup.
Yep.
How many dark
But
harvest stacks?
freak,
7 dark harvest stacks.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to have time to like talk about that fiasco there in the mid lane. But go ahead and give me what you
7.
saw about that overextension.
I mean, I just flat out saw green, to be completely honest. I understand
Mhm.
Banger knows that he's in a very good position right now, but unfortunately just wasn't respecting the fact of the VA ultimate, like you mentioned. And I think he flashed at the same time, too,
Yes.
if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
he did.
But he just didn't respect the damage from the stun or the ulti, then followed by the stun under tower. And I mean, you hate to see it, but that's something that like I understand it was like more of like a confidence play, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it was like a intentional like I'm gonna go for this. And I think it's like yeah, I can
Yes.
totally do this. And
Yeah.
then when these guys like LOL JK, I did not mean to do that, team. I ran it down, and you kind of just meme with your team for a second. But
Yeah. A bit of an
Whoa.
overheat there. Yeah, it gets a little too excited.
I will say though that BYU are in a much better position right now than they were in the last game. By the
Yes.
time we had crested 10 minutes, they were already down almost 5k gold. And right now we're 11 minutes in, and they're barely under like 600 gold. So much better
Yeah.
position than last game. There's no specific lane that's too out
More
of
kills too, I think.
Oh, way more. Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe.
I think they only had 3 kills last game, right?
Well, they had 6 in total last game, so they've already found that as we find a pick in bot lane.
Solo.
Okay, we're gonna have a
get one
ultimate
Zoe,
in
one
the top
kill.
side. They're gonna find BB Bennett. It's gonna be a 3v1. TF does have his ultimate charge. Where's he gonna pop up on side of the map? He does pop up in the river. They managed to take too long taking out Warwick, but they do find him in the end.
No way they
It
go
is
for this.
now gonna be a 4v3. Does BYU have what it takes to finally find a team fight worth taking? They get the stun onto the TF. He is
Oh, no.
Bingo falls down. They are now in retreat. Here comes Tom Kitch. He takes the voyage. He takes the life of the Scion. They found the fight, but it does not matter because Dorado Gaming flipped it on its head the minute it started.
I was talking good about them too.
As much as the gold is close, this is a very fed Nidalee, and I would like to point out part of the gold lead that you have is in bot lane. This Zoe is up 1.5k, so the members that are there are the ones that are behind, and it just unfortunately doesn't go their way. Shaco clone pops very early. They're not allowed to match that with an engage. Scion ultimate doesn't really hit anyone too important.
Wait, does Shaco steal this?
I
Does
thought
look
it was,
better
I don't
now.
think so.
I don't know if he could steal this.
Oh, now he can.
Yep.
He got it! He got
Won't
it!
be able to pick up the eye though.
Oh, he got it! That is kind of nuts.
Oh, he doesn't get the eye though, so the eye is gonna time out. So sad. Oh, that's
Yeah.
unlucky. I mean, but
Good steal.
honestly necessary because that means that more gold doesn't
I
go
mean,
forward.
what, in that scenario, do we say worth?
I mean, you don't
I
get
think partially it's an even gold trade technically because you get the gold for the Herald, but you also give over kill gold as well yourself. And you really give over a lot of the pressure you would have had with the Herald play, and since you don't get any kills back,
I mean, he
kind
can
of
take
just
him.
forfeit
He
your
can
map
take him. I
pressure.
know he can. Just have some confidence. Have some confidence. You got this.
He's super scared. Doesn't know that the infinite duress isn't up.
Not yet. It's about to be though in the next couple of
Yeah.
seconds. It's up now,
He's
so
got
realistically,
the damage. He's got the tank. He got this. I know he does. Nidalee's on the other side of the map. 30 seconds for Infernal Drake to spawn.
come on, man,
Oh,
come on.
He's
I
got it.
think
He's got it.
Great Q.
Oh, nice.
can't
Q's
get
gonna
the
get on the
flash.
backside. He does slow him up
Wow.
and forces the flash. Ooh.
Yeah, I would like to point out that Warwick Ultimate and Warwick Q is actually magic damage, not physical damage. So stacking armor against Warwick doesn't necessarily fix the whole issue. It really only fixes his auto attacks, which isn't a lot of his damage as comes later with later points in this game.
Okay.
So he should pick up some MR at some point here, hopefully, not only for the 1v1 with Warwick, but also for this Nidalee. That's definitely at a point where you could call her a bit out of control as she has the Night Harvester completed. And looking, and 10 stacks on Dark Seal as well. So
Very out of control, to
yeah.
be completely honest.
12
Funny enough.
Dark Harvest stacks as well.
Funny enough, now with the 10 seals on the Dark Seal, there is a thing.
I do gotta give it before we talk about the Dark Seal. I do gotta give it
Mhm.
to BYU this time around. Their vision is looking a lot better.
Yes, yeah, they're definitely not playing in complete darkness like they were last time. They're able to actually find some wards and like play around them a lot better. Although right now they are playing in some.
Oh, really good stun right there by Wildcard because there comes a fight there in the bot lane.
Nice.
Bingo manages to find that Ashe. I think, oh my gosh.
Ooh.
That
Yeah,
was
this
huge
Nidalee's
damage
a
from
lot of
that Nidalee
control.
Spear. Wildcard is going to flash out of
Scion ultimate available.
MATG. A Scion ultimate didn't go off right there. He did have it charged. Viego does fall down in the process. And here comes the Pantheon. He is gonna ult. He's gonna ult right there in that mid lane. Gonna get right on the back of that TF. It is gonna be 4v2 here in the mid lane. It should have been a 4v4, but it does not matter because that Italy is huge. Here finds one. Here looking for another one. They did swallow that TF. He does get out of there. We might be looking at a disengage right here.
Yeah, we should be. That was the Grand Starfall was a little bit aggressive there, trying to find a pick onto Matt G, but they were able to get it. Tanks the Q, gets hit by the E, but there's a lot of healing available for them, so it shouldn't matter too much. As this is chunking, does jump into the box though.
Just does so much damage that Ignite is taken away. He does find the kill, shut down, going right over to that Shaco. He did smite to secure it.
Efron's way too
on
far.
the backside, a really nice stopwatch by that Zoe. Here comes the Viego. He does find the stun. He does find the kill. It is now a 2v2 to fight over this vision control and this river control. Wildcard is just gonna start up this Drake and pull it back, and they might get it.
3 for 2 at the end of all that for me.
Yeah, I think they just give it away.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So 2 Drakes. So this is also a really good improvement. They're starting off with the first 2 Drakes in this game. And it is Chemtech, baby. Let's go.
I'm not wrong every game of the series this go around. That's a good start. Yeah, gold lead.
Let's go.
Yeah, gold lead at this point is still only right around 1K. Like you mentioned last game, at this point it would have been 10,000 to gold lead for Dorado Gaming.
Oh my god, look at that.
And BYU has almost doubled their amount of kills this game.
Yeah, I mean, Zelda Go has picked up a few shutdowns, a 30 CS lead down there in the bot lane. This is one of the reasons why I don't like Ashe Blind as much as Zoe AD carry is not exactly something you'd expect to play into. There's a lot of champions that can do the same sort of thing. The good thing about Ashe being down in gold is she's still always useful with the Crystal Arrow. It's, I mean, a very high impact ability regardless of how behind you are. And the gold is where you want it to be. This Nidalee is very fed, and TF, when he's ahead, does do a lot of damage, opting for an AD Twisted Fate build this go around to kind of try and keep this Nidalee as solo AP, which I think is a good idea.
I was thinking the same thing, actually,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hyper.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, Enchanted Control goes wide right there as a fight breaks out here in the top lane and the mid lane. TF is going to be 1v2ing the Shaco and Wildcard. But they look like they wanted to start a fight there in that mid lane. I did see that arrow go out before the camera shifted.
Yeah, same thing. And I was going to comment real quick on the TF build. So I understand why that they did that. I mean, TF is getting solo XP. I mean, Ashe is going to be more of a utility. Oh, never mind that. G might be
top lane finds another one. They did find the stun. The Wildcard does land too. Shaco does pop his second clone. And this Twisted Fate is trying to find something.
Oh my god.
They get the shutdown right over to that Viego. He's going to be looking for Banger now. He gets that Wildcard. Here comes that Shaco. Here comes the drop. The top. And the Banger goes down. BYU has found life in game 2.
What's going on? I think I think I said this right before the end of draft was over. Is this actually a big main draft?
Scion 1v1. Let's go.
I was gonna point that out too. That Scion did kill Warwick in that whole little exchange. This is the part that sucks about not having replays.
Yeah.
So. I don't know what happened. It looks like Ultimate was burned on the Scion, so I'm assuming he also
was
power, and then they kind of just just whatever. But that was the confidence we were saying that the Scion needs, because there was 3 instances where he could win a 1v1 against Warwick like that. So good that Vic finally got the confidence.
Here comes that TF. So a stun. The bubble does land. The
Maybe?
Slow and the Enchanted Arrow. Here comes that TK. They do manage to secure the kill onto that Zoe. And the fight is breaking out. TK flashes right into Vigo, but he's going to get stunned right up by that Pantheon. They're trying to get to the rest of that team. A nice stun by that Shaco. And Chaos is doing right here in the red side jungle. Channeling from that Pantheon. I don't know what he's channeling for. Channeling to get away because the mountain is the only destination for him if he stays in this fight. And Scion is going to fall and join the rest of his team trying to just back.
I'm so surprised they went for that team, but it's another spear lands. This Nidalee is chunking everybody as people are very sorely needing magic resist, as Alphabet Cat is opting for Zhonya's second. Vic is now trying to get his... He does have a Sheen there. He might be going Trinity Force or something else. I'm not sure what that Sheen's going to be building into, but he only has armor at this point. The only real magic resist on their side is Wildcard with the Merc Treads, as his Trinity Force is almost completed, should be completed soon. Nidalee now also has Void Staff and Sword Shoes. That's a lot of pen for very little MR, so basically hitting everyone for true damage right now.
Yeah, I just cannot believe the amount of damage that these spears are doing. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. She's 8 and 4, 2 items. Bennett will split up this ward, but man,
Wildcard just brought out Bennett. That's the good thing.
True. So no cheeky nonsense will go on. But I'm in a weird place, like kind of thinking about like how the rest of this game is supposed to go. Obviously, BYU are in a much better position this game. The gold is much closer.
Yeah.
Oh, finally some good damage on that Q. She has been like ever so slightly missing it, but a fight is going to break down here in the bot lane. Baby Bennett's going to be having to forcing the flash out of him. A nice stun from that Viego, but they do find that Warwick. The arrow does find that Scion. It is now 3 beefy boys down here in the bot lane. Zoe is here for the backup.
A lot invested for that kill though. Flash Ignite, 2 ultimates as well. 3 actually, because you no longer have resets on Viego, and you don't have a lot of the tools that you need for this dragon fight in 20 seconds, and Bennett will be up for it, although he doesn't have TP because he did opt for barrier early on. I think Dorado Gaming should be pretty good thinking about taking this 4v5, as a lot of the key tools you're worried about aren't available.
I mean, I like throwing that much down there because you are behind. Like you're behind right now. So you just overwhelm them with numbers, and it will work. A nice Shaco box right there, forcing Banger off of that right there. They're doing a really good job trying to, zone the rest of the team out while they focus on this dragon. It is down to 3,000 health. They might be trying to look over the top of this,
that's
here. Really nice secure by the Shaco. Now it's time to get out. The good Sonia's right there. But here comes Bennett on top of the team. It is a lot of damage coming out from the side of Dorado Gaming. The Zoe does go down. Does pick up 1. BYU has found their footing. They have found their damage. They have found their guardian angel. BYU finds that team fight, and they get their Drake in the end. Last kill to pick that one up. Here we go, mid. Time to take some towers.
Are we trolling right now? Because we said this draft was bad, and this is what's happening. They're up 1,000 gold. They're going towards the Baron. It will be very slow, though. That's the only thing. I mean, the only TP is on the top 10.
Yeah, their objective take is really slow. I mean, most of your damage comes from this Viego and these Shaco boxes, so it's not too bad. But I think the big thing of why it's working so well is Efron is really far behind, and he really isn't able to find damage in these fights, and a lot of time you're just being found on side lanes, getting picked off, taking really skirmishy fights, which is the kind of fight you're looking for, as Koya is really aggressive here. I think they don't think he's alone.
Oh no, the TF.
Really good Twisted Fate ultimate. TF did jump right there. He's going to get stunned, and he's going to fall down in the process. That is a really big Baron that they lost.
Yeah, honestly, quite literally. I mean, your front line just went down, and I'm honestly at a loss for words.
What a clean bubble right there that the ADC found. But the Raptors don't take it. A humongous damage. Nidalee found her match in terms of burst. And it's from the ADC on the side of BYU.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows how threatening Zoe Burst is, and she's only 2 items at this point. It only gets scarier from here, as she doesn't even have any pen, really, aside from Luden's pen with Lichbane. Looking to get the Zonian stopwatch, not available, so they could potentially look for something here. They should just get this wave pushed out, back off. They don't know where everyone is.
I was about to say.
Well, actually, they do know where everyone is. They saw Warwick top, and then they breathed right there in the mid lane. They knew exactly where everybody was because Nidalee was down.
But I think they know. They should know that TF is coming.
Wild card is here. A really nice fear, a really nice stun. A TP coming in from Scion, but it might be a little bit too late. And that red buff taken away just did enough damage to secure it. Scion is looking for that re-engage, but TK is here to disengage. What a game this has turned into with a good flash, I would say.
I was gonna also comment real quick back to the Zoe. I mean, you mentioned that Zelda Girl is a Zoe one trick, and this is something that she's very comfortable on. So I mean, and we're seeing it for off rip. I mean, just the bubbles and then the paddle star to follow up after that as well, and just the amount of damage. And she's at the point where she's blowing up this Nidalee, and I mean blowing up this Nidalee.
Yep.
Ash, Nidalee, and Twisted Fate are not safe from her. Maybe Twisted Fate because he has the wit's end, but other than that, I mean, she should realistically be one-shotting pretty much everyone except Tom, Kench, and Warwick at this point. So very, very well done, and I just cannot believe just we were literally saying in draft and in lobby, they're like, we have no idea how this comp is going to work, and honestly, they proved us wrong. I mean, Wildcard is 6-5, proving that he was able to absorb that pressure from the TF in that matchup. And then you have the 5-3 Zoe. Shaco is doing pretty well for himself as well, being able to solo out Nidalee from these pits, not able to get in because of all the boxes he's placing around them, so she just can't get close. And right now, they're a minute 26 to the next dragon. They're on Soul Point, so
yeah. And you know what? They got these waves in a really good position to where they could just 5-man, collapse on this TF like right here. And here comes a stun, a really nice wild card from MATG, but he's gonna get hit by that Sleepy Trouble Bubble. And it is trouble indeed. Gonna get pounced on by 4 members of BYU. 1 minute before the Drake spawns, and they do manage to get that top tower for the side of Dorado Gaming.
I don't even know when objective bounties came on, to be completely honest with you. I was not paying attention to that.
I was not
they came on very
Dorado
recently, they got objective bounties because of the gold swing and the lack of they've just been losing gold for a while. Even though the gold deficit is only about 2k, they have objective bounties because it's been about a 5k gold swing very quickly.
It was I do gotta say, they did a lot with that Baron push right there. They were able to take 2 towers.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they were, and I think as we were talking about this Ashe pick a little while ago in this game, it's not having the kind of impact that you'd like it to have. These crystal arrows have been hitting, but not at the right time, not the right moment to find picks on the people that you'd like to find, and that's really what they need to sort of open this game back up for themselves, is find an arrow onto a target, find a pick, as we might gonna have an engage on these two.
Oh, we got a really nice stun right there by that Viego. He's gonna miss that ultimate, but it doesn't matter. That stopwatch, when you go golden here, you go to the fountain, as I like to say. Really nice Scion ultimate, gonna hit that TK. Doesn't do a lot in terms of damage, but at least slows the fight in general. Wildcard managed to get into the back line. He finds Zepron. A double kill for the Viego. Or do they find Bennett in the back line?
This might be the game.
I think
they can definitely end here for sure. It's just the respawn timers are 20 to 30 seconds. It's a 2v5 right now. Matt G might get big. Actually, might almost find a pick.
Nice
Zonia's has to flash.
Zoe
and it goes down.
Zonia's there on her last back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but this should be real.
I don't know if they have it, a Sleepy Trouble Bubble, but a lot of healing from that Warwick did stall a lot of time. Shaco does force to pop that stopwatch himself, but here comes Italy. That burst damage is just so massive. They take down one next tower. Scion is just trying to do what he can to take these turrets. A smite coming out from the Nidalee. Zoe manages to dodge it, and here comes the TK Abyssal Voyage trying to re-engage. I think BYU get away with crime on this one, boys.
They do. The arrow's available and not used.
They have to
use it to cancel.
Oh no!
I would expect an arrow to get thrown down in here in mid lane to at least
cancel
one
Dorado just takes the Drake, right?
Yes, so this is 100% Dorado's Drake. There's no way. Oh my god!
She managed to get it. Oh wow! She manages to find it. Oh god!
Baron's up in 40 seconds. They could set up for that, at least vision-wise. TP coming up from Silent top lane. They're gonna have to back to match this.
You should get this tower.
I was thinking maybe he TP to the ward we see right there at the Nexus though.
Oh, the tower's up though, so
he does have his ult, but there's no way for him to really use with that TP. He can tank the tower pretty easily because he does have a lot of armor. But he just won't be able to take the tower, and with all the bases coming through, he most likely dies for it. Instead, going for the tier 2 tower, get the gold.
I do like the TP right there because it gives them that Baron control.
Yes, it does, yeah.
I agree with you, but they're gonna walk into the jungle here. I don't expect too much out of this. No, we're good. So Nidalee and Ashe are back because they have those secrets at the base. Realistic? No, actually I take it back because BYU's Baron take is uber slow. There's
but if they just pick off Bennett like they did right there in the jungle, his health bar is getting very low, and these Shaco boxes are planted everywhere right here in these entrances. So it's not going to be really hard. Really nice spear coming out right there. Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands on the Nidalee, but that stopwatch is really clean. Gonna go golden, gonna stop that paddle star from doing a lot of other damage. The Jennifer's arrow is found by Efron, and bingo, here comes right into the back line. BYU manages to pick up one on the back line themselves, and the damage is just flooding out of BYU right now. Wildcard finds Bennett right there. It is now a 5v3. They pick up 2 in that engage.
Oh no! Oh, that's fear. Actually 4v3, but that's okay.
Damage.
Pantheon did go down, so it is 4v3. Zoe, what are you doing? You do not have the health for that.
Zoe.
I don't know if they can take this.
And you blow it.
Wait, the base though. The Nexus Tower was just falling in the base. So, I mean, if anyone
This is
wanted to
huge. This is kind of huge. Look at the Shaco boxes. Look at the Shaco boxes. It's kind of massive. It's kind of insane. And they're dodging them. They're just dodging them.
They need to get back to go for the to find their base. If they can find Alpha Cat, if he gets picked.
Oh!
Great ultimate there.
A really great ultimate. He does. He manages
heals
to live.
herself.
And Diego manages to find the Nidalee. Efron and TK's health bars are so low right now. Can we look at the base real fast there?
He's gonna get hit by the spear potentially. Also for the wall. Everyone's gonna die.
Oh, Wildcard manages to find Efron, and TK is just in retreat for his life.
They do Baron here. The answer is maybe. I mean, they're walking over to it. Okay. So we are absolutely in a pretty hilarious clown fiesta of what this game is.
What is going on?
That's what I'm saying. We were literally saying this, like, this draft should not work. But I mean, I do got to give it to, unfortunately, to Efron. I do think the Ashe pick is quite a hindrance right now. She's not doing the damage that other AD carries do, and I think Ashe is more of a utility, like honestly more of a support than she is AD carry right now. So I think if it's a different utility carry here, like Varus, I think it's a different story. But this Ashe, unfortunately for Efron, and I'm not saying it's his fault at all for picking it. You know, we're just gonna blame the coach, Lamau. I'm just kidding.
In this game, I really don't like Triforce on Ashe. You just don't have the kind of ability to get a gold lead with this pick. With Tahm Kench Ashe, it's a very passive lane. You kind of can't pressure Zoe Pantheon at all, so you're just going to go behind in gold. And Trinity Force, it is a strong item once you get to a 3-item power spike, but it kind of delays your spike as an AD carry, whereas if she had the Ginsu's Rageblade Rune's available, she would actually be pumping a lot more damage in these fights early on.
Right.
I mean, I was thinking
which is a lot of the damage that you're sorely missing, because all of your damage is very single target, very pick oriented. It's almost entirely on this Nidalee to really do damage. You don't really have any sustained damage in these fights, which is a lot of the time where they're losing it.
Really nice sleepy trouble bubble right there. TK cleanses it though. Do we have the fight start? Oh, we're just waiting for the minions. Oh, objective bounties go over to the side of Dorado Gaming. All they got to do is just protect their base because the minions are going to do it for them. And the inhibitor is up. And here comes the siege for the game 2. Who's it going to be?
Arrow on Shaco.
Oh, really nice stun by Wildcard. He's going to pop that stopwatch. But BYU is doing a lot of damage right here. Wildcard forces a stopwatch out of banger. And the Shaco is just chasing them down. He manages to pick up that TK. Ashe finds one.
My God.
Just running for his life right now. A nice smite coming out from that Shaco. And MATG is just in retreat for his life. He tries to run away, but when a knife is coming for your back, it does not matter. Game 2 over to BYU.
We're actually going to game 3.
All right.
What the heck?
Non-believers beware. I mean, we might see some new subscribers to the Church of BYU after this game, because that was, that was
oh my God! When I go
a game and a half, extremely bloody, by the way. 50 kills, 51 kills there in a 33-minute game. I think that game is pretty 50-50. If skirmishes go one way or the other, whoever wins the skirmishes pretty much wins the game. And Zoe doing the most damage in the game, 35,000 damage. Nidalee doing less than even Shaco. Shaco doing 30,000 damage, Nidalee doing 28,000 damage. So yeah, like I said, if this Ashe has a different build, potentially she's able to do more damage in these team fights, because the crystal arrows weren't really landing. You weren't able to find picks, and you're not able to really find damage with the comp that you have. So I mean, we saw her hitting the Scion for pretty much peanuts over and over again. So I think if the build changes, maybe not first picking Ashe, because like I said in draft, she's not a very strong in the AD carry role, in my opinion. I think there's obviously there's a ton more AD carries available that are much stronger in this game, especially paired with Tahm Kench. I think even Jinx is better, like we played in game 1 in this game.
I think if you're going for that utility, I'm gonna side with Freak on this one. That is 100% a Varus angle. I'm saying
for sure. If you do want a utility ADC, then yes, and kind of give some more CC for this Nidalee to play around. Varus is much better in this game. Also, a lot more reliable damage as well. I personally do have a gripe with first pick Ashe. They didn't punish it the way I would think they would, obviously, with Zoe Pantheon bot lane. Not exactly a standard counter pick to Ashe.
Not saying
But
it didn't work though.
it 100% worked. Every time this Ashe walks up, she's very immobile, and even with cleanse, there's too much CC. If you cleanse the Pantheon W, you can get hit by a bubble. If you cleanse the bubble, you can get hit by Pantheon W, and it's a lot of burst. And if you don't have barrier, you can't live it. So, yeah, really well played in the mid to late game skirmishes by BYU. It started out a bit shaky for them, except for that mid lane play at the beginning there. But good game from them. A really weird draft, but they made it work.
I have no words because of that. It just it was a weird draft. Let's be real. It's something you would probably never see outside of leagues like this. And
yeah,
maybe Clash. Like you're playing with your friends. Like, hey yo, let's do something goofy for the last game.
Yeah, you lose the first game of Clash, and you're like, well, you can just pick whatever, have some fun, and they won with it. So we'll see if they do something similar. If any target bans, respect bans comes out in game 3, or if they try to just go for something standard and see if BYU follows suit.
Well, I guess we're just gonna have to see when we get to draft. We will see you for an interesting series none of us anticipated. See you for game 3.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Risen Esports. We're going to get ready for game 3 of a 3-game series we were not anticipating between here of Dorado Gaming Omega and BYU. Draft has started. You can hear the vocal cords ripping in my throat, so I'm going to hand it over to my boys, Freak and Darter, to walk us through it.
I don't know what to
Yeah.
expect this time, to be completely honest. I mean, with
Are
what
you
that last
expecting
one
something
was.
similar? Are you expecting something similar from BYU?
I don't
I want to know.
know. I mean, if that's what works for them, then yes. To be
Yeah.
honest, we're gonna actually nope, not
Shaco
anymore.
ban?
Shaco was banned, so
100%. I mean, like, if someone is willing to play Shaco in a game like this, and it's just such an annoying champ to deal with, and it's kind of like Nico, where you have to play the game so differently and in a very specific way to deal
yeah.
with it. So if you know they can play it and are willing to play it, it's just kind of a respect band thing that you just don't want to have to deal with. Because most of the time in competitive 5v5s, you don't really have to deal with Shaco that much unless people just whip it out as a pocket pick. Rek'Sai ban again makes a lot of sense. One of the strongest junglers on the patch. Kindred ban respect, same
Yeah,
thing goes.
respect, man.
I've seen Banger do really well on Graves jungle as well. He's picked it a few times in the last few weeks,
Mhm.
so we might
Yeah.
see him play that again today,
Yeah,
depending on how their draft goes.
I was noticing a rise in priority in Graves, but it's been more of like a
Hmm.
lethality Graves build that I've been seeing recently
Yeah.
with the dust plate changes and Yomu's as well. I mean, obviously you're not going to build them at the same time, but you
Yeah.
know what I mean. But just with the lethality changes, it's just Homeboy just all of a sudden rose back in priority, and it's been very interesting. Malzahar being banned away, which is very interesting. I wonder if it's like a game 3
Yeah.
pick that BYU does. I mean, you possibly could see Malzahar in the bot lane, down here,
Yeah,
but
we
Jarvan being
haven't
open.
seen them play it yet. Jarvan first pick is, in my opinion, not something you see very much, just because there's a lot of champions that do very well into Jarvan. It's not the kind of blind pick champ you want to be using. It is a very strong jungler. Don't get me wrong, but you need lanes to play through. You need
Yeah,
the kind of champions it does well into, like immobile AD carries, immobile mages mid, things like that. Whereas Dorado Gaming, if they pick something like Zeri or Lucian or Ezreal, this Jarvan already becomes a lot weaker in this draft. We'll see what they end up going for. And yeah,
and
there's
there's
the Zeri
Zeri.
pick. I would expect there's a ton of supports you can pick with it. Lulu and Yumi are the prime examples. Milio does also work very well with it as
Really,
well.
I
Um,
don't like Emilio too
it
much with Zeri.
does, yeah. I play a lot of Zeri, and I've played Zeri Melio quite a few times. It works really well, because the bonus damage is applied to your Q. So, with lethal tempo stacks, it does. And there's
Lilia.
Lilia. That is a jungler that has been banned against them pretty much every single game apart from this series. So looks like a pocket pick, a very scary one at that for him, and he will be bringing it out for this game, looking to drop support to R3 to R3. And I want to know if they do end up going for the classic Zeri no support counter, which is Aphelios Yumi, because you don't really want to let them play Zeri Yumi. But I don't know if they play it for the side of BYU.
Absolutely. I think that's what you do pick up. I mean, you have to steal away one of the really good enchanters that goes with Zeri.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they're not going to go with it and go with the Thresh
Okay.
instead. So, I mean, you have options of what you can pair with Thresh. I mean,
Yeah.
you have Jinx. Even though she's not as
Yeah.
good as she was, she's still a good pick. Honestly, I'd be okay with Ezreal too. Maybe
Yeah.
even Twitch, even or maybe
Mm-hmm.
arguably Lucian. But I think you should just pick your AD carry here because they're gonna ban
Yeah.
out most likely
Yeah.
one AD
Aphelios looks
carry
really
pick.
good for them. Again, I don't know if their AD carry plays it. I haven't seen any games.
Fortune.
Okay.
I'm not a
Now,
fan of that.
Misfortune, all Dorado Gaming have to do here, in my opinion, is pick Lulu on 3, and BYU's draft feels very difficult to play already. Because Polymorph against MF, just Lulu against MF in general, is
Yeah,
very tough for
not
her to
fun.
deal with, because as soon as she pops ult, if Lulu's even anywhere close to you, you're getting polymorphed and getting canceled. Lilia is very good into Misfortune. You have the movement speed, you have the sleep available. You can just kind of one-shot her if she's channeling. So yeah, either Yumi or Zeri are both really strong. I think Lulu is particularly good into this bot lane. Soraka is
Raka.
also another
Okay.
good pick into Misfortune. Not something you really see too often paired with Zeri. Does work pretty well though. Doesn't have the same shielding as other supports do, which is why you don't see it very often. But
No.
yeah, really good into Thresh and Misfortune.
Yeah, and I mean, and if Jarvan ends up on top of everybody in the Cataclysm, she can just silence him in there, or get in a decent position to be able to silence the Misfortune out of her ultimate. So it still could be pretty annoying, and the healing
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
It will have to force heal cut out of BYU, but
Yes.
that's a whole nother rant that I will not go on right now because I am very opinionated on how bad I think healing reduction is in the game right now.
Yes.
Even though that okay, I'm not even going to start it. Actually, I almost got started, so I'm not going to do that. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and focus on the bans. And still, these top
Yeah.
laners just getting banned out over and over. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
mostly the second phase has always been top lane bans. The
Yes.
Gangplank still being off the table. Fiora, not a surprise, also off the table. I'm expecting these two top laners to kind of just duke it out once
Mm-hmm.
again. Whether or not they will go for the Aatrox pick for the side of Dorado, and then maybe um, another carry top laner or something along that line as I'm looking through
Yeah.
them. Still think it's an Aurelia angle, but that's just me. Silas being banned out.
Silas ban. I would
I can see that
expect
for
them
the
to
Soraka
ban
ult.
Scion personally, but Silas is pretty decent for them. There's not a whole lot of ult value they have, except for Soraka.
Soraka,
The only
the
reason why you'd ban Silas on 4-5 is if you're looking to pick something like Malphite here or Maokai, something like that, something that has really high value ultimate. Katarina Ben's a bit interesting. I don't know if Matt G plays that. Again, I don't know if we mentioned this earlier on the season,
so.
but Matt G is normally Dorado Gaming's AD carry. He is playing support, playing mid lane as their mid laner is not able to play today. Efron
Kali.
is their
Now they're
substitute
gonna
AD
do
carry, and
it.
they're starting
Okay.
Kali blind pick, which is sort of kind of gives value to that Silas ban, as that's a very classic matchup we see a lot of the time. Veigar, good counter into a Kali.
Yep.
Although Zeri, Soraka, Lilia do have a pretty easy time playing against it, they don't really get zoned off as hard because they have a lot of angles they can look to punish Veigar. The only they are like they're Scion because they're lacking a lot of frontline, which is why I was expecting Dorado Gaming to ban Scion because it's a very strong pick for them in the top lane. And Dorado Gaming themselves need frontline.
Oh yeah, they do.
I would say Ornn, but that's a lot of magic damage for them if they do pick Ornn.
I mean,
So
it should be fine. I mean, otherwise you could do set. Kasante's open, or you could do Shen
yes,
here,
I think Kasante's the best for them here. I think it's good
or
into Scion and
Malphite.
it's just good in general.
Either one, but I would
But we'll
prefer
see
either
what they
Malphite
go
or Kasante.
for. I don't know if the top laner plays Kasante. They go
Or
Yone.
Yone. Oh, okay.
Garen, okay, yeah,
Okay.
he played this in week 1, I believe, and did really well with it. I don't remember exactly what he played it into. I'd have to check. It looks like he played it into Tom Kench top lane is what he played it into last time.
Okay. Interesting.
So it looks like one of his like pocket pick counters to tanks. Garen is actually pretty sneaky strong right now. You just don't see it a whole lot in competitive 5v5s because he's pretty easy to counter. But R5 Garen is really strong. So and in this draft, it kind of solves a lot of their issues. It's one of the champions that has a lot of built-in tenacity that can just run at Veigar despite a cage being in front of him. So it kind of gives them a bit of extra peel and another member that wants to go forward, which it looks like their whole team wants to do.
I agree, and I mean they're going to be backed up by the Soraka healing no matter what, so lots of sustain as well. Garen also with his passive, lots of sustain. So we're going to go ahead and dial it back, bring Hyper in for a calm analyst desk. So go ahead,
Yeah.
Hyper. Tell us what you think about this draft.
I can't believe you would do that to me. A calm analyst
Calm
desk. He
analyst
said.
desk, yes.
You're kind of forcing me into a box, my guy. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I mean, after last game, I think anything is calmer than what we had that time. So
I'm not gonna lie, this is a lot more chill in terms of champions.
yes.
But I doubt it will be a lot chill in terms of action. Because I mean, I'm looking at BYU, and I'm kind of digging the wombo right here.
Yes.
I really hope that Ducks Vic. I really hope Vic finds that confidence he was lacking from game 2, and he just sees that he has the damage, he has the tank, he has the sustain to take those 1v1s. More than once we saw there was an ability for him to take on that Warwick, straight up with ultimate, but just didn't take it. So I want to see him do it here into this Garen. Garen's going to be a little bit harder with that ultimate. I used to call it the Beirut last season, just because of world news at the time of that massive explosion. But yeah, so he has that, and it can really take out Scion.
Yeah, I mean it's true damage, right? And it's a lot of true damage. Even at like rank 2, it's like 900 true damage or something silly like that. So even through a 5,000 HP Scion at the end of the game, this Garen ult is still going to be chunking, and the rest of their team can't really deal with Garen that well. Veigar's really the one that you have to look to kind of create corridors to play against this Garen with Cage. But again, if you're playing, because Dorado Gaming's comp wants to run at you, and BYU's comp is kind of split in the sense that Jarvan, Scion want to run in, and MF wants to just layer ult over top. Thresh has really good engage, and then Veigar is kind of a separate in that sense, where he's just kind of a kite back and zone kind of champion. So he doesn't really fit too well in this composition. But again, Veigar does have zoning tools. You can create angles with the cage as well. So we'll see if they can pull it off. But yeah.
What do you think of the Veigar freak?
I see it as a potential like wombo combo. I mean, Vigar I think is a decent champion. Unfortunately, again, one of those immobile champions into the Akali of all things will be
Mm-hmm.
very difficult.
Yeah.
She loves champions that are immobile, and I've done the matchup several times. Akali into Vigar, and
Yep.
typically Akali does suck for the first couple of levels naturally.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
just how she is. But once you hit like level 4, and depending on what rune that Matt G is gonna end up going, I kind of hope it's Electrocute to be completely honest with you.
Yes. Yeah.
As the
I think
Vigar?
yeah, I
Uh.
guess the Vigar. I would go
Okay.
Electrocute against Vigar, to be completely honest with you.
Yes.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
I will get to the Vigar in just a second. It's just I don't think this matchup will be easy for the Vigar for a little bit, unless
Mm-hmm.
Lilia comes and helps the Akali. Gets a nice, decent lead. I won't say a huge lead, just decent enough to where she'd be
Yeah.
able to take over the lane because she
Yeah. Blow a
just needs up
flash.
to
Get
level
a
5.
wave crashed in. Yeah.
Yeah. She just needs up to level 5. Vigar is going to be, obviously, it'll get to a point where Vigar will just be able to absolutely nuke Akali if she doesn't get on top of him first.
Yeah.
So, regardless of whatever happens, um, it will be in the favor of Vigar for a little bit. Jarvan can come and
Mm-hmm.
relieve a lot of pressure with the
Yes.
combo that they can do. Trap her in the cage, you can't get out. It'll be the same thing when they hit level 6. Both of
Mm-hmm.
them with the Cataclysm and the Vigar cage. You have a really nasty just funnel for this amount of damage that they can do.
Yep.
But like you mentioned, with the Soraka, she can cancel any of the abilities that Vigar or Misfortune are going to throw out. So this will
Yep.
make the game hard for them. But I have after what we saw last game, I have faith in BYU to pull it off.
Yes. Yep.
Dorado, I mean, they're good. They're really good players. We saw in game 1, they absolutely rolled that game. But
Mm-hmm.
now they're after drafting a little more. I will flame them a little bit. Say they're drafting a little more common sense this time,
Yes. Yes.
and this will be, I think, a harder game for BYU to take over. But I think they can do it. It's possible.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if this misfortune gets ahead. Um, I mean, we know how much damage this champion does with the lethality build
Mhm.
going around right now. So if she can get a lead in this bot lane, which they do have the ability to do with fresh MF into Zeri Soraka, which is not exactly a strong early game lane. So
Right.
if they can find a few kills, use this Jarvan, get pressure bot lane, and get this misfortune rolling, they can really do some damage in these team fights. If they don't do that, however, they might have some issues in the mid game because Veigar really doesn't turn on until about 3 items. And Sion about himself, he really doesn't do it too much until 3 items. So if they can get this MF, get this Jarvan to bridge them into that late game and start to really set up these wombo team fights, but without going behind in gold, they can really position themselves for a good game.
Now we don't have to think too hard this time, so we can go ahead and get with the Dragon Soul prediction
Mm-hmm.
way earlier. So I'll go first this time. We'll go down the line. We'll go me, Darty, or Hyper. So the first Drake, or the first or Drake that comes to mind, I think in this game in particular, is honestly Ocean Soul. I do think Ocean Soul would be honestly devastating if
Yeah.
Dorado gets it because they have the Soraka already.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
extra
Yeah. Yeah.
healing. So she can just keep permanent healing. So if that ends up being the soul, I think it is a little doomed for BYU if they don't get early dragon control. That's
Yeah.
my prediction. Starter?
I think Cloud is another very devastating
Oh,
soul for either one of
Cloud.
these teams to get. The movement speed for the side of Dorado Gaming is something that they will make great use of, and the ultimate
Yeah.
CD reduction for the side of BYU is something that they will make great use of. So I think if we do get a Cloud Soul, that's something that we will uncharacteristically be high priority for both of these teams.
Ah, man. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm gonna side with you, man. I think Cloud
Mm-hmm.
Soul right here
Yeah.
would be
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of devastating if either team got their hands on it. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really hope Alphabet Cat doesn't go the lethality build that we see on
Yeah.
J4s.
Yeah.
I really hope he goes the tank build. Um,
I
but
agree.
let's say he did the other lethal build and decides he wants to go Axiom Arc. We're looking at Cataclysm, every other fight, and
Yeah.
that's devastating in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Cloud Soul would be kind of nutty
Yeah, for
this
sure.
game.
Um,
But we got about a minute till spectator delay.
yeah.
Game 3 going to be coming at you guys very soon. So we're going to go on a quick little break, and we will see you guys for game number 3. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends of all ages, welcome back to Risen Esports for game number 3 right here on the Rift. Last game, we had a 5-man invade from both teams. This game, we have a 5-point start from both teams. Goofy stuff last game,
Yeah.
standard setup this game. Freak, Darter, what's happening? Who's winning this early game?
I mean, based on these champions in the picks, I mean, Dorado Gaming has one real lane they can play through early. I guess you could say that they can play through Garen, but playing into a Scion is pretty rough. So they can really only play through mid in these early stages, and Alphabet Cat is really looking towards playing through bot. So we'll see if this Jarvan pick is very strong early. Although this Soraka Zeri is a very difficult lane for Jarvan to gank, because neither of them. Well, Zeri doesn't need to burn flash to get out, and Soraka, if she dies first, is really the only angle you have to really get a kill out of this lane. So we'll see if they can find her and find some picks. But if they play safe, let waves push, this Jarvan really doesn't have any other lanes he can play to either. So. But I would expect BYU's bot lane to get ahead. Aside from that, I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not entirely sold either on which side will get ahead, but it's just gonna come down to individual play. I think knowing your matchups better, and I mean, Vygar obviously is gonna have a mildly hard time because he has mana, Akali doesn't. He just has to wait.
Oh, what a clean hook by that Thresh right there on that Soraka. Gonna have some level 1 shenanigans already.
Okay. No summoners burn, so that's good. So she will keep the summoners. Unfortunately, he is now half health, and we'll have to probably not burn through those pods, actually. She'll just use the Q to actually heal up.
Yeah, as long as she hits Q, she has the sustain, doesn't even need to burn potions. Zeri did opt for long sword 3 pods, which is a very smart start in this lane, as you'll be taking quite a lot of poke, and you don't necessarily need the HP because your trades are going to be fairly short as well. They did get level 2 advantage, weren't able to press it because Efron and Koish were respecting that. Bennett trading very heavily, just like last game in this lane, taking
really
a lot of damage back.
From Vic, though. Actually finding that confidence now. Kind of going up in that trade a little bit.
Yeah, it looked really good at the start there. Traded for a little bit too long. Was able to get Bennett was able to get one more Q in there, but Scion has the sustain, has a lot of HP with grasp, so he will pretty much always come out on top of trades. Although Garen passive is very strong.
Yeah, it's like just as strong as set passive.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Oh, what a clean hook from Bingo! Wow,
that's good. Wow, well done.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to comment on is I'm looking across the runes across the board. We have First Strike on the Vygar, and we have Conquer on Tikal.
Are we gonna find a First Blood right here? Oh, you had it, my man. You had it.
Fully commits. If he tries to commit for a trade or a dive, I think he knows bangers here. It's not warded.
I think he knows, and he's gonna back off.
He did sense it. I feel like he sensed it.
It can't here.
Yeah, she's gonna cancel his back. He might just fall down right here.
Dead.
Yeah,
100% he's
it
dead.
happens. First Blood over to Banger.
Yeah, I don't think
that was the most unenthusiastic First Blood we've ever had.
Yeah, we just kind of stared at it. We're like, ah, man.
He didn't see the gank coming. He was trying to take a reasonably safe recall, so Garen couldn't cancel him in the middle brush. That's why he warded the lane to see if he was potentially getting ganked from Try by Banger, and this is how Akali versus Veigar is going to go. Akali pops Shroud. It's hard for Veigar to hit any abilities in heavy trading, but Alphabet Cat does not hit Burst Flash.
Forced the flash out of Matt G right there. I kind of wanted to flame Wildcard a little bit, but considering what Lilia can do, I get it now, because they were kind of just keeping that wave neutral right there in that mid lane. I was like, why not just, harass her? You have the range, but it doesn't matter. We might have another 2v2 right here. Alphabet Cat can jump right onto Banger, but he's going to throw that ball right onto Wildcard. Flag and drag goes wide, forces the flash. Oof.
I wonder if the call there was in comms, to be completely honest, because I think you saved the flag and drag for the turnaround, and Jarvan looked like he didn't even want to fight that, so that kind of explains why it put Vygar in a really awkward position. So Wildcard unfortunately has to flash. And now that we're a little bit of a lull, I'm actually going to go back to commenting on the rune choice from Akali. I'm not a fan of the Conqueror into like Vygar and like Misfortune and whatnot, because I feel like for those two champions in particular, they're going to be looking to dish out the deeps in team fights naturally, blah blah blah. My thing is, looks like Cloud is the first Drake, so unlucky for you both.
I should have gone with my gut.
Should have. Don't copy me. I almost never get him right.
Go ahead and finish your thought, man.
But I rather prefer Electrocute in this instance because you're going to be looking to want to blow up this Vigar. Because if a fight does go too long, Vigar will be able to turn around
Yep.
a fight. I think if he gets strong
Mhm.
enough. Granted, we're only 5 minutes in. Let's assume that Homeboy has like 200 whatever stacks, whatever. It's a huge fight, and they're looking like
Yep.
about to lose, but then Vigar is like psych, and then turns the fight around. I
Yeah.
think in this case you want to make sure you can blow him up because 3 people with Conquer. I mean, Garen is expected, Lilia also expected, but I really wish I only like Conquer on Akali in like tank matchups, for instance, because you need to
Yeah.
have those extended fights. I guess maybe that was the choice.
I'm guessing that's what she's going for, is like that late game when Thresh and Sion become those absolute tanks.
So too.
She'll be able to
Mhm.
hide in that shroud and be able to deal a lot more damage in those extended trades.
Darvin's here, level 6.
I do gotta say, I don't like the way how passive Vigar's playing right now. He's giving Matt G a lot of space to work with.
Yeah, he didn't go with tier start, so he doesn't have the same kind of mana pool to work with if he did go tier start. And the only issue is if he does push too far, he does leave himself up to gank.
Yeah, I got him right there on the edge.
It did, yeah.
Bennett just kind of cheesing the plate, trying to get that plate right there.
Mm-hmm.
Chunked.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I was so surprised about that. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah. What I would like to mention is something that we didn't talk about and we should have is there's a new AD carry for BYU in this match. Christensen CX is playing instead of the previous AD carry. Yes, thank you. So this new AD carry is going to be playing on this version. It's not the same AD carry we saw the last 2 games. That is something I just want to get out there just in case for those wondering about the name change potentially. But yeah, it's just a substitute AD carry for them.
It's an Ocean Break next. I just got trolled. We all got trolled.
A classic 2v2 right here. Sion forced to flash an ult to get out of that one. I don't think the flash was necessary. He probably could have done it with just the ult.
Yeah, we saw that last game a lot as well. Vic was kind of flashing a little bit preemptively and in a lot of situations where he didn't necessarily had to. Was never punished for it because he's playing Sion and it's really hard to punish a Sion in top lane solo. But yeah, seems a little bit got maybe spooked by the gank and just flashed away to just try not to give over a kill or anything.
I kind of get it though.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So 7 minutes in the game. I mean, Ocean Drake is the next Drake on the map. It looks like.
I do gotta say this game is a lot calmer than the first 2.
Yes.
8 minutes in, we only
Which
have
is
1 kill.
Surprising to me.
Yeah.
With Jarvan, Misfortune, Thresh, I would expect there to be a lot more attempts in the bot lane here, but they're just kind of letting Zeri Soraka scale, which is not necessarily the way you want to play this bot lane out. And Misfortune's just kind of farming first strike stacks and just chilling in this lane, whereas I would expect them to try to go for a lot more plays. Banger
they
going
might
for the
find
invade.
a pick right here on Banger though, as
smite these away and she'll be able to get out.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that chicken didn't die just in time. He might have grabbed it.
Wait, this is a interesting way they can set up.
Ooh, but the sleep and the flag and drag to the lantern was kind of clean. Really nice play from the side of Bingo, but a really big fight gonna break out right now. Zeri did pop that ultimate. The exhaust is down on her. Meanwhile, we have Matt G jumping right onto Wildcard. Akali's dishing a lot of damage out. What a really interesting fight right there.
Yeah.
Only Jarvan.
Jarvan, yeah. I thought that was actually going to be a lot more. And another kill over to the Lilia. She does get the kill. She's looking for... Oh, Maggi hits that. I think he goes for it. I mean, just saying, if he hits that, goes in and dies, it's because he didn't have electrocute. Just saying. But anyways,
yes.
The blue looks like this red buff will go over to the Lilia. She does have smite, so this should just be easy picking. Yep, it goes over. We'll go over the wall, and she's out. Now, from moving on from there, but that fight looked a little weird. But
yes.
it looked like it could have swung either way. I think Akali getting there is what kind of like sealed the fate because she was able to dish out not a lot of damage, but enough to force Jarvan out. Unfortunately, he does end up falling.
Yeah, but can we pay homage to the mechanical prowess right there? Flag and drag to the lantern right as Sleep hit. Like,
yes, yeah.
Oh wow, that was just gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah, it was really clean by him to just nearly survive. Unfortunately, the sleep does get him killed because he sits there for a little bit too long, unable to click the lantern. But what I noticed is Christensen just kind of sat bot lane for that play, didn't really move up. I think if he followed the roam there by bot lane, that fight can go completely differently because one Misfortune ult in that mess can do a lot. What does come of that is Thresh burns both of his summoners there.
Yeah.
So now this bot lane 2v2 is a lot less easy for them. The only thing Efron had to burn there to live was his ghost. So both bot laners have their flashes available. So we have a Herald play here.
And Alphabet is going to get pinched right here. Trying to use that flag and drag, does find it, but Akali uses that shuriken to follow instead. Here comes that Cataclysm, gonna lock her in place, but it doesn't matter. She ults out of safety, takes a tower shot, but it does not matter. They started up the Herald, they had complete vision of them, and just pincer maneuver.
Yeah, and that's the kind of reason why you don't want to first pick Jarvan, like I mentioned in draft, is because when you get champions like Akali and Zeri that can pretty much make your Cataclysm nullified completely aside from the damage. I mean, really good job by Matt G holding the R2 to use it to get out and escape the Cataclysm and not take more than one tower shot. But yeah, those are the kind of champs that Jarvan does have an issue dealing with. That Herald play, all that, like you mentioned, was very risky to try to go for, and they were punished for it.
I'm looking currently at builds right now. It looks like Lilia is going for Rod of Ages first, which I'm not entirely familiar with.
That's definitely not standard.
Surprising, I think. But I mean, we're used to seeing the Leandries because it couples with her burn on top of it, and demonic after that, blah blah blah. But coming in with the Rod of Ages, it looks like they're needing. I think the call here is that they need a little more of a front line because it looks like Garen is not going to go.
Yeah, he's going.
He's got the Berserker.
Well, Berserker Greaves is fairly normal. He is going to go Gore Drinker, looks like.
Okay, yeah, looks like Gore Drinker.
Or no, that's Stridebreaker, I think, because he has Hearthbound Axe. So, which is normal Garen. But yeah, Berserker Greaves is actually like standard boots on Garen for some reason. I think it just helps with his dueling power and in lane. But yeah, Berserker Greaves is actually quite common on Garen, which is pretty weird. But yeah,
I guess against Scion, it's kind of like why, but I mean at the same time I get it. Once he gets access to the Vigar or the Misfortune later in the game, he can just swing his big meat on them and just kind of
yeah.
So
exactly.
I understand. But this Ocean Drake will most likely go over. They're setting up for this.
Oh, I don't know if Alphabet's going to be able to smite Securious. They do back off. Dorado Gaming does give them enough of room to work with now. Flash from Bingo to try to get something, but a flag and drag is going to stop them right there. Really clean ultimate from that Misfortune. Just as that sleep was coming through, Bennett manages to ult Misfortune. Dorado Gaming gave him enough space, and it was just enough to think that they had some sort of, chance in that fight, and they just sweep him up.
It's going to be
Dragon going right over Dorado.
Woo, Infernal Soul is what's going to be. Okay.
Yeah, and you just don't have enough peel for Misfortune. I mean, all Bennett had to do was just walk at her with Q and hit her on the forehead and cancel her ultimate there, and it looked really good. She wasn't able to get all waves of bullet time through, did a lot of damage, but unfortunately just not enough follow-up and not enough frontline to make that fight last long enough. This Herald should crash and grab a couple plates here. They shouldn't go for too much more than this. Yeah, it looks like they're just going to back off and take their resets, get their gold back on the map.
I'm surprised they didn't drop that Herald before that Dragon broke out.
I think they were pretty confident in their fighting ability at that point.
Vic, you take those, man.
Yeah. Oh man, that was close.
You got to take those. He's right in your wave. You just take them. Take them.
I think the call. I think the call there was that we can get Drake. We have enough time with the Herald anyways that we don't need to force it right now, especially because it's only the second Drake of the game, and it didn't look like that BYU had much priority in it anyways. So I kind of get it, and I do have a slight beef. Yes, I know Vigar is like unlimited scaling whatsoever, but I do not wish that he built Everfrost, to be completely honest.
Yeah,
I'm not, I get why. I completely understand why, but just in my own peak go-to opinion, because all these players are better than I am.
Rush is very weird from Alphabet Cat. I understand the early executioners, but Kempunk Chainsword got its stat nerfed quite a few patches ago, because a lot of junglers were rushing it because it was just a stat stick item and it just gave wounds. But since they've nerfed it, and now that the components do the exact same amount of wounds as the completed item, there's no need to just fully complete the wounds item. So that's a bit strange there. And I did some looking at Rod of Ages Lilia, and it is a less than 1% pick rate or build rate, but it does have a decent win rate. It's 52.5% win rate on Rod of Ages Lilia. So it is very uncommon, but apparently it's pretty decent. Although low pick rates like that is very much matchup centric builds, which is potentially what this is. When you're playing against a Vagar Scion, it may be helps you scale, although Lilia does a ton of damage late game anyways, and I would assume since you have a Scion on your screen, going double burn it really helps with killing it. But yeah, Rod of Ages Lilia is apparently a very niche thing that happens.
Wow.
And you know what? Bennett
Oh,
and
no.
Banger are just kind of bullying Vic up here in the top lane. This is the third time we've seen Lilia come top since this game started. Here comes Banger right out of that bush. Managed to hit that Q. Here comes the sleep. Here comes the Garen ultimate, the silence, the damage. Vic is just living for so long, even though they're throwing so much at him.
Yeah, unfortunately, just doesn't have the damage himself to really make it a tough fight, because although he lasts for that long, isn't really able to do anything to get a trade kill there. The good thing about this play is they are able to pressure this bot lane tier 1, because you know that Banger is topside. His Alphabet Cat is looking
really
to try
nice
and kill
cataclysm
Bennett
right
here.
there by Bennett, and you know what? He just hitting him.
He can just
Left
stand here, the wave's under tower, he doesn't need to do anything, and he gets out for free. That's a huge cooldown burnt. Because if the wave wasn't there, that's a completely different story, because then Bennett takes tower aggro, but since he can just stand there and wait for the Cataclysm wall to go down, doesn't even have to burn flash, doesn't have to do anything, because he's not scared of Alphabet Cat's damage, because like I said, he rushed the Kempung Chainsword. It's not like he has a Iron Spike Whip or a Boar Drinker where he can actually do something to you.
The only plus side right now is that they did get first tower for BYU. They got first tower, so that's the only bright side I can think of this game.
They got first Drake too.
Otherwise, they're kind of in a bad spot. I mean, no, I guess not bad. They're in a not ideal spot at the moment. Looking across,
I'd say they're in an annoying spot. Really clean hook right there. Really great play, and the ultimate from Thresh. The exhaust going down as well. Banger's in a really uncomfortable position, but he is the gear. He has the flash. The flag of drag goes wide. Here comes Ari over the top of the wall. She pops that ultimate. The Lantern is able to save him in the end, but a play right into the baby cage from the wild card Vigar. Ooh. What
Whoa.
a hook. Bingo dives right back in there. I don't think that's the play, Chief.
Yeah, he saw blood in his eyes there, potentially was calling for a Misfortune ult and a re-engage on the play, but when you have no mana on Vigar, Cataclysm just coming up now for Alphabet Cat, you don't really want to take the re-engage. Luckily, he doesn't get punished for it. A lot of cooldowns burned for both sides. The only really long cooldown that you'll be looking at is Alphabet Cat will not have flash for this dragon fight, so he's now on even playing field with Banger, both of them using their flashes in that last fight. And this is this will be Infernal Soul as well, so if either one of these teams get Infernal Soul, it's very threatening for both of them.
Looks like BYU's gonna just concede Drake right here.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that. It's like, I think without those tools right now, the threshold is down, and Ion is not in a position where he can come help right now.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he does, but like this Garen is just like Goomba stomping him up there. I mean, Lilia has been helping, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's just not in a good spot where he can be that front line at the moment, and he's not able to do as much damage. So they're going to try to trade the Herald, but I'm kind of confident that
I don't think they can.
Oh, never mind. It looks like Lilia back. So I thought she was going to beeline as far as I'm doing the Herald.
He just gave up.
Yeah.
He saw the timer and was like, I don't have enough time, and I don't have the damage.
Him dropping the Herald there is definitely the correct play, because they started it way too late.
Yeah.
If he had started it around when they started the Dragon, as soon as they were going to give, they'd start the Herald up, but unfortunately when he's soloing it and doing it that late, it's just the kind of thing where when you know Lilia's going to be going topside, you don't really want to risk that play, especially when you are down in gold and in items. As Bennett's going to go for the 1v1 here. Alpha is topside.
Does get a lot of good damage onto Vic right there. He was able to silence that charge on the Q. The ultimate for Garen going down. That's a pretty big cooldown.
Yeah.
I mean, do they have enough time? They got 30 seconds. Are they going to try to take this Herald?
They're at least going to try and fight around it.
They get the root. They get the silence. Bingo is in a really bad spot. J4 is just sticking right to that blue buff. Doesn't even care about his support. And Thresh goes down in the face.
They could look to kill Christensen here.
Really good flash by Christensen.
Burns both summoners for that, which is a very abusable thing. A Misfortune with no flash against champions like Lilia, Zeri, and Akali is something that I would certainly not want to play. If she positions well, it won't be that punishable, as Banger's very deep here, potentially going to get collapsed on by Wildcard.
And a really good Cataclysm too, followed up by
there it is.
Bullet time shutdown over to Vigar. Really
That's very aggressive
huge
play.
shutdown too.
Yeah, massive shutdown and on the person you want it to be on, and that's just a super aggressive play by Banger to go for, with no one to cover him, his entire rest of the team off of the map on bot side, just a little bit overstepping his bounds. We saw him do that last game a couple times. And Sven is gonna look for another potential all-in as he has his ultimate coming up here.
I do like that Vic is stopping these backs every single time, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Bennett is sitting on a really good amount of gold right now.
Yeah,
and here comes Bingo roaming up to the top side of the map. He is going to get slowed up, and they're not going to decide to jump in on him.
They don't kill him anyway, so I mean, why even bother going for it? Cyan's not going to
waste his time.
I guess, but like, what's the point? There's nothing on the map for them to get. Akali might be caught out here. Nope, never mind.
Oh, the flash
Oh,
from
no.
Cyangar. I
Great
don't think it's
TP.
a play, but the flag
they're
is
gonna
right
get
to the
fully blasted.
open arms of the Lilia, and the two of them find her and shut her down. Wildcard is about to get pinched right by a Soraka, and here comes Bennett. Efron is in the river. That exhaust is just what they needed. Now they're just gonna try to just take him down little by little. The baby cage was enough to get the stuns, but he could not get to the lantern for safety. And they just retreat to that mid lane tower. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Vic finds the tower finally.
Good for him. I mean, it's also, I think, the first kill. When did that first kill go over? That was a while ago. Never mind. That was shut in the middle. Never mind. Just forget what I was getting ready to say. But just unlucky that they don't get the root on the Akali to stop her. I mean, it looks like the Cataclysm was up, so he opted out of using it, knowing she can just dash out of it. But just that's so sad that they burn so much for that, and then they get TP'd on by the Garen. Lilia shows up. Soraka and Zeri are coming from the cut, and it's like they're just in an unfortunate position.
I just figured out why that lantern didn't work. If we can pan the camera right back over to
they put a control ward on it. Yeah,
they put wards right on top of that lantern. That was huge.
That's the classic counter to Thresh Lantern. Is you have 16 wards in your pocket and slam all of them on the lantern to secure a kill. They didn't have any control wards in pocket, so they have to use a few of their own trinkets, because one control ward usually does the job. But I thought Wildcard was potentially able to get a trade kill on Efron because he just walked into the cage. And with a full combo from Veigar, even only at this stage, he does have death caps, so he does a lot of damage.
How many stacks does he have?
The AD carry, I believe he has around 200?
175. That's a good amount of damage.
He's 500 AP right now, but that's because of the death cap naturally. But one thing I was gonna pretty much show how old I am playing this game. Yeah, the classic of dropping the wards on the lantern has been a non-secret since like season 4.
Yeah, it's been around for so long. Yeah.
Because I think that was a good chunk. But oh wow, Bennett just goes Veigar.
Oh, Christian is gonna get picked out right here. Oh, it didn't go as well as they were probably thinking. I honestly saw Banger with a kill right there. Oh, but a really clean hook by Bingo.
Yeah, I think after that one death he had in bot side jungle, his team is like, yeah, we need to chill out just a little bit. We have a really good position in this game. We don't need to do anything crazy. And yeah, Bennett solo killing Wildcard around in topside is able to pick up that top lane tier 1 as well. And what I was going to say off that kill is a silenced Veigar doesn't exactly do too much. So Garen can just run him down with Stride Breaker and ultimate.
Yeah, but here comes Alphabet opting to go for the Bennett really clean ultimate from Cyan right there, locking Bennett into the mouth, and another Cataclysm too. And Bennett is just trapped right there in that baby cage. A really nice flag and dragon to knock him up. Another stun, a flash, but it does not work.
Smited like a minion.
Shut down over to the Alphabet Cats.
Dragon does go over there on the other side of the map. Unfortunately, Objective Bunnies will be active here in a moment. Lilia might have caught someone here, or is she caught?
Nice play, but he has to drop that cage to get the slow. A really clean stun, a flash, but he is still drowsy. He is still sleepy, and he is still seeing gray screen.
Yeah, and he's going for more here. This is very aggressive. I don't know about this one.
Oh
That's
my
a lot of damage as well.
Doing a really good job orb walking right there. They find the knockup and the flag and drag and the kill. Vic gets the shutdown on the Lilia.
Banger again, way overextending and giving down another shutdown. I'm curious to see if after the second time this game and after a few times last game, he kind of pulls off the gas a little bit, getting a little too hype after getting the kill onto Thresh there, thinking he can get some more. Fortunately, no objectives can be taken off of that kill, so it really just is 450 gold in isolation, but still...
I think that mid tower is low enough to where they can take you right now.
Yeah, they just don't have the kind of push for it. I don't think they're gonna super commit for that. They can't get on the map fast enough. Matt G and Bennett both do have TP if they do try to go for that tower.
Something interesting I just want to briefly point out is Christensen is actually ahead of Efron right now,
First
over
strike.
about 800 gold. So yeah, that's first strike doing work, and
And
that's
also
pretty
CS
interesting
up
to see.
up 30 CS
Yeah,
as
he's
well.
up 30. He's up like 25 farm. He's got probably about 200 first strike gold at this point because he's been absolutely farming it in bot lane. I saw one proc was like 63 gold at
Yeah.
once, so he's been getting a lot of gold from that. But yeah, most of the gold lead for Dorado Gaming is in this top side, much like game one. We saw a very similar situation where bot lane was behind, but it wasn't really that impactful because you're playing a scaling champion. So even if you are a little bit behind, you can just be useful all the time in team fights. And your top side, when they're this fed, you can kind of play around them.
Does he lose this blue buff? Okay, no.
He does not. He has the smite available.
Scion green.
I don't know if this is the fight right here. Bennett
gonna
looking
be a
for
fight
a
mid lane.
lot, but they're I don't know.
Oh,
The
we're
hook
not doing
the
it.
hook-
Are we?
the-
Okay.
Yeah, the hook landed onto Banger, but they weren't able to find anything else off of that. I thought Alphabet Cat might commit the Cataclysm and they could look for bullet time onto Banger, but they don't.
That's what I
Opt
was
for
thinking
the
too,
for the safe play here. They're just I think Dorado Gaming can just twiddle their thumbs for the next 2 minutes. Keep vision around this Baron. Don't give it over. And when this Dragon Soul spawns, just take that and really look to close this game out from this position. Don't have to do anything crazy. Gold lead is now 4,000 just about. 3 kills to 12, and objective bounties now are available for BYU, so they will want to look to try to pick up this mid lane tier 1 tower and potentially cross map for some other objective bounties.
They really need to get that tier 1 in the mid lane tower.
Yes,
I mean,
they do.
Yeah, they really do.
They really need to get it. It is if they're gonna think about Baron at all, that tower needs to fall.
Yep. Yeah.
We got a couple paints coming onto it though. It looks like they were pinging it for a second, probably wondering. BYU was wondering if they might be doing it, but everyone's moving down to the bot side right now. And I wanted to say this is more of a slow burner game, unlike the first one that they were about 10k gold ahead at this point. They might be looking under.
I do gotta say, Wildcard is defending this tower very well. Really clean flash by him. Matt G is taking all the turret damage, but that burst from the two of them is just too much, and he ends up falling. Bennett on the top side of the map manages to 1v1 Vic down. And I mean, like you said,
they could get Baron off this.
They're not anywhere near it, so I don't think they'll do it. To be completely honest,
they probably will.
I still think they can. Yeah, they definitely can. They know all of BYU is on bot side. Matt G has his TP available. Bennett just got another kill on top side, so it's 3v2 or 3v5 for the next 20 seconds here. They have a very fast take with Zeri and Lilia and Garen. They can do this very quickly, even at this stage in the game. So, yeah, 100% they should take this. Alphabet Cat is on the complete opposite side of the map, way too far away to even attempt a steal at this point. They have no vision.
Matt G down here in this bottom lane, I'm loving.
Tons of pressure, yeah.
I'm loving the macro decision on that. You know, 4 take that Baron. Matt G finishes that bot tier 2 tower, and might even push it in a little bit more. Because he has those empowered minions.
Yeah, he should back out here because he does see Scion, obviously doesn't want to get caught in a kill before Drake in 20 seconds. But yeah, he has the TP available, and he knows that 2 key members are dead, so he can just pressure this bot side 1v2 with Baron, just without Baron minions.
Wow,
and if they do end up trying to sneak for any fight in top lane, even if they were close enough, he can TP for it. Banger's a little bit too deep, trying to get some deep vision here before this Drake set up. Vic also a little overextended. I'm curious to see if he might get punished for this. Q goes completely wide.
He might actually get punished for that. Here comes the lantern to pull him out of there. And Dorado Gaming did a really good job of securing vision first and also Prio in that red side jungle. Garen is just doing what Garen does that we always see. Inhibitor falls down. Wildcard throws that baby cage so that Bennett has to back away.
Yeah, speaking of priority, he's got tons of it in top lane, and I'm curious to see if he's going to TP to this bot lane and then play 4-1 through this bot, try to get 3 inhibitors, or if he's just going to sit here in top lane, bully this Scion. That's what it looks like he's going to do.
Keep the Scion right there. Scion's health bar is getting very low. Here comes the Drowsy from Banger. Not a lot of damage, but enough damage to sway him off. They're probably going to duke it out, flag and drag to get away, but meanwhile on the red side jungle, we have a fight breaking out. Bigo manages to play right over on top of Efren. He flashes out of that bullet time, and he dashes onto the Thresh.
Garen's on Nexus Towers.
And it is going to be GG. I
He
think Garen has rushed into the base. and the Nexus Tower's starting to fall. Alphabet Cat falls to the smite and the
Great
pass.
stopwatch.
Oh,
Absolute
wow.
disrespect in the bot lane and at the Nexus Tower. Bennett diving Vic under the Nexus Towers, tanking both of them, getting the kill, and walking out with a full HP bar. He can base, get his gold into his pockets, and
Might be the
TP back
game.
as he has the Shojin completed, and that's exactly what he's going to do. They can
Inhibitor
easily
tower on the
triple
bot
in
side
him,
is falling.
or just end with these minions on the Nexus Towers, which is what I would
One
think they
more
are going
Nexus
to
Tower
do.
to go. Christensen is the only thing left between
dead.
them
Over.
and defeat. And I don't think he has what it takes to stop 4 members. There's a nice play, a nice hook. Baby Cage is gonna hit. Nice stuns coming out, but the minions are still laying waste to the inhibitor. The Nexus is going to fall. Game 3 over to Dorado Gaming. A nice, slow, secure for the winning team.
That was a slow burner, yeah, for sure.
It was a slow burner. I mean, a much cleaner game from them as compared to last game. We did see Banger do his characteristic overextended plays, going for a little bit too much, getting a little too excited, dying twice there. He could have 100% gone deathless that game, I think. 3 members from their team actually going deathless there. Bennett only dying once. I mean, he had so much pressure on top lane with this Garen pocket pick, and we saw why he picked it. It's a great matchup into Sion. Sion can never hit a fully charged Q in Garen's face unless he knows Garen Q is down and just has a complete damage advantage in the top side. And I think the big takeaway from this game from BYU is that they weren't able to get their bot lane ahead, and that was the biggest factor that they could have had going into the mid to later stages of the game, is having a Fed misfortune, but they weren't able to find that. They just kind of slowly lost, and Dorado Gaming playing the map very well this time, putting a lot more priority on vision and taking the smart play rather than just going psycho.
Garen did 32,000.
So
Did how much?
I'm curious to what your guys' thoughts are. I'm thinking we pull Banger in and get his thoughts. But
yeah,
what do you guys think?
No, I'm cool with that. Like,
yeah.
I'm cool with bringing Banger in. I mean,
Mhm.
kind of played out of his mind all 3 games. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously game 2 started out really great. Ended up inting 3 kills the way Lamau.
Yeah. Played out of his mind and lost his mind a couple times. So
But
you know, that's actually the Blabber special. So like,
Yes.
it kind of reminded me of 2019 Blabber.
Flash for that first scuttle smite and still miss it.
Yeah.
But Freak, let me. What are your thoughts on that game 3 while we wait for Banger to join us?
A lot more controlled, I will say. It was a lot more like kept within the realms of not getting out of hand, if that makes any sense at all. They played a lot more minus top lane. I'm gonna completely say top lane was kind of a crap fest the whole time.
Yeah.
Bennett was just doing whatever he wanted up there. But the rest of the map was controlled. They didn't let Vigar get too out of control. It looks like Vigar ended the game 1-6, so they kept Vigar down. Even with all that AP he had, it wasn't enough. Same, the bot lane wasn't able to get involved by Christensen didn't die the whole game, but just wasn't able to get the damage off that he needed to do because they killed everyone else before he was able to do anything. And then Matt G ended 6-0. You know, their AD carry who doesn't play AD carry, 6-0 on Akali. Akali's an easy champion, by the way. Just so anyone wanted to know.
I don't know about that. I don't know if she's easy, but
I think she's pretty easy, but that's probably also because I have like a couple hundred games on her. That's probably why it's easy.
Yeah. She's I think she's the kind of champion that you can just pick up, but the way he was playing, it definitely looked like he had at least a few games in his back pocket, saving his R2 to get out of Cataclysm, that sort of thing. So definitely playing better than a role swapped AD carry would, I feel.
Yeah, definitely better than I would have played as a role swapped AD carry. I mean, when I decide I want to go into the mid lane, I play champs like, Malzahar, Victor, something that I can play back here and just bomb spells with. Because I don't have the kind of mechanical or, macro know-how to play mid lane. But joining us now is the jungler for Dorado Gaming. How was that 3-game series, my man? We definitely didn't expect a 3-game series, but how do you feel about it?
It was pretty good. I mean, we had a little fun game too.
Yeah, I noticed.
I
do want to ask you, there's a couple plays in both game 2 and 3 where you got a little bit either too excited or a little bit too overheated there, going for some crazy stuff behind towers and trying to dive people level 5. What was your mindset going for those kind of plays? You just like, yeah, I can do this, I'm fed, or what was it?
Yeah, that's as the split goes on, you'll tend to see that a lot from me if I'm ever on stream again. If I'm ever ahead, I'm
Okay.
gonna just ego every play and try to 1v5.
Okay.
Hey, I like it,
I
honestly
told you.
too.
I told you exactly like 2019 Blabber. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, he did the same thing. It's so funny.
I do gotta ask, that Nidalee pick. I have not seen a lot of Nidalees played in a 5 comp, but when I do, I'm kind of impressed by the way you guys kite your camps to use those mark procs, but also just the ability to lead those max range Qs into just the absolute jungle presence. So, how are you feeling on that Nidalee playing into the Shaco?
It felt pretty good early, but I have a mental block versus Shaco, so I already knew it was gonna go bad. After they pick it, I told my team if it's Shaco jungle, we probably lost because I just can't play versus that champ.
Honestly,
Yeah,
understandable.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
have
Yeah.
I have the same kind of mental block against Alistar, so I totally know what you're talking about.
Um, I like to typically always ask this. So there's obviously one major fight that happens in each and every game. Blah blah blah. I want to focus specifically on the one in game 2 where you guys almost got aced, mind you,
hmm
and ended up losing the Baron. What were the comms like after this game? Because Soul in chat the whole time was like, you guys are giving him a charity game.
Wait, which fight? When we lost to Baron in game 2?
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you guys
Was it?
almost get aced, and if you watch the VOD back, Shaco's got like 7 boxes planted in the river, and you guys managed to dodge every single one of them for some reason. I don't know how. Uh, that fight, it was towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
Um, was it? You said it was towards the end of the game.
Yes, I think it was
Yeah.
the last Baron.
It was the last
Yes.
Baron.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I told my team, let's just try and flip the game. I was trying to FF.
That's the kind of mental I expect from my jungler, to be completely honest. I mean, if you get the steal off, it extends the game, potentially gives you a play back into it. But you were in a pretty rough spot to begin with, so if you don't get the steal, you're most likely gonna lose the game anyway. So it's good play to go for. You guys played it really well in games 1 and 3, and you didn't lose your mind nearly as much in those 2 games as you did
Yeah.
in game 2. So really well played from you guys.
I mean, we could
Appreciate it.
definitely see you hit the gas pedal off the
hmm
first Lily
Yeah.
extension. As you were going for the second one, you were like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't." It's Thresh. He's right there. He's right there. Oh, maybe I could do a little bit more. It's like, oh, he hit the gas pedal again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was honestly great. And obviously your sister team last week also won as well. Did they
hmm
win tonight? Actually, I'm gonna check real quick.
They
Yeah, they
did.
toured.
They 2-0'd their
Oh, you
team.
guys are a game behind now. They're what, 6-0 on the season, I believe. You guys are now 6-1.
No,
No,
they
they're
lost
six and
last
one
Um,
as
week.
well. They're
oh,
six
they
and one as
are.
well.
Oh yeah, right. They dropped the game to Money
Dropped
Monkeys
the game.
last week,
Money
so now
Monkeys,
you guys
yeah.
are tied up.
Yeah, but so obviously we know that both Dorado teams are very very good. We see that in the
Yes.
team fighting all the time. What and for your opponents for the rest of the split, what is something you want to tell them? It could be banter or just anything you want. Like, how are you feeling about your opponents for the rest of this rest of the split?
I mean, I think both sides of the brackets are pretty easy, including our sister team. I think we'll just wash pretty much every team as long as we're like trying. So
Oh wow.
As
I'm
long as
not
you don't have
not too
4 fun
worried.
games like game 2, as long as they don't pick Shaco, you
Yeah,
think it's a clear 2-0?
yeah, easily.
You heard it
Okay,
here
okay.
first. Take Shaco and you auto win.
Okay. Yeah, I either Dorado has to start permabanning Shaco, or you guys need to start picking it. So steal some games.
Every team starts scrimming it now.
Throw him everywhere that he's viable, just so you can have
Yeah.
him.
Shaco top, Shaco support, throw him in the jungle.
Doesn't
Yeah, make
matter.
it
Doesn't
work.
matter.
All
Well,
right.
all right,
Happy-
banger, absolute banger games. I definitely enjoyed it. My vocal cords definitely did not. Any
Yeah.
last minute thoughts from my partners in crime?
I'm good. Well
I
done,
don't think so.
banger. You guys played out of your minds.
Yeah.
Obviously, game 2 was more for fun, but it was calculated
Yeah.
apparently. So I'm excited for you guys for the rest of the season. I do expect you and your sister team will see in playoffs. So whatever you guys got
Mhm.
cooking up between now and whenever that happens, that's probably watch patch 1313. So we'll see what
Yes. Yeah.
happens then and see if it changes the meta. But I'm excited for you guys.
13-13, or isn't it 13-12?
Oh yeah,
I-
but by come playoffs we should be on 13.13. So
Okay,
we'll
okay.
see what
I was
changes
like,
between
what?
now and then. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew what
Continue.
I was talking about. I knew what I was
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about.
No, no, you're
He's
good.
got the
You're
timeline. That's it for
good.
me as well.
Well, all right. We can't wait to see what you guys are capable of in the playoffs. Much luck to you guys next week. Who you guys facing up against? BBC. What is that?
Bilbo's Book
Well, if you
Club,
really want to
not
know,
the
it's the same
not
number from the
Bilbo's
stream.
Book
yeah,
Club.
not what you think it is, but yeah,
They were 2-0. Did they win this week is the question. They did. They are
they
also
did.
going to
Yes,
be
undefeated.
undefeated playing up against you guys. So
Hmm.
much luck and best of luck to you guys and
Yeah, easy too.
easy 2-0.
Easy
All
2-0.
Easy to okay.
Mark my
right
words.
then.
I'll be in your DMs if you lose next week. I'll tell you what.
Well, all right. Freak, go ahead. Any last minute things you need to say before we check out here?
Uh, the only thing I have to say right now is this kind of goes out to the league in general. Um, be mindful and don't be afraid of taking trades if you think you can win them. I only say
Yes.
this especially towards game two because Vic played the matchup into Warwick pretty well.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of a confidence thing why I didn't take those trades. So kind of this goes out league wide. If you think you can go for the trade, don't. It does not hurt to go for it. If it doesn't go well, just don't do it again. But
Hmm.
if you have the advantage, make sure you hold that advantage. So that wasn't specifically, just like to flame anybody in particular. There is no. It's kind of a message I'm giving league wide is
Yes.
if you have an advantage, take the advantage. If you think you have it, take it. Don't hesitate to pull the trigger. I know you have sometimes to be aware. Just make sure your vision is correct and you can make those kinds of plays. And
Hmm.
that's all I will say.
Yeah.
Uh, and Darter, what about you, my man?
Yeah, I think from what the games we've seen this week and last week as well, I think a lot of teams can really benefit from focusing on vision. I think vision's a big thing that we see make the difference in a lot of these games. If you can
Hmm.
get vision before objectives, if you can play for it first, be aggressive, be to the play first, you can really snowball games a lot harder and end them quicker. So that's something I would look for you guys and other teams out there.
Okay. I agree.
I mean, I guess I have to think of something pretty worthwhile to say because you guys are here passing wisdom, passing knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
passing inspiration, if you would.
Yo, running
Um,
down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all I gotta say, is just have fun at the end of the day.
Yep.
If your guys is mental, I mean, it sounds kind of like one of those things, like, this guy, just have fun. It's a game. But now,
Yeah.
seriously though,
Yes.
uh, keep your mental intact. It's still a competition at the end of the day, whether it's a
Mhm.
game or not. I love playing basketball, and
Mhm.
it's a game, but it's also competition. If my mental breaks during the game, I know I have a less chance of winning or even trying to win.
Mhm.
So just keep your mental intact. If you're in a bad matchup, accept it, play it out, and hopefully you can get to the mid and late game.
Yep.
Because we've all been there. We've all been in
Yeah.
a really crappy matchup, double range versus a melee matchup. It happens. Triple ganked because your jungler's doing the correct thing on the opposite side of the map. It happens. You're playing weak side. It happens. You just got to accept it and make it to the mid and late game, mental intact. I promise. Uh, it will be less tilting.
I
Yeah.
definitely agree.
100%. Yeah. At the end of the
I'm
day,
not.
have fun. That's what we're here for.
I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna get better, but it'll be
Yeah,
less tilting
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you can
it'll be
just keep the
less. Yeah.
mental intact. But that's all I've got to say.
Yeah.
I think that'll do it for us, won't it? Because
Yeah.
that's
That'll
the
do
end
it
of
for
stream.
us.
It doesn't look like Risen 2 is live right now. So,
Mm-hmm.
chat, that'll do it for us. Thank you, Banger, for coming in. You can go back with your team and kind of do whatever now. But I don't know if we're gonna raid anybody. I don't know who's live right now.
I know Metashift is live right now. There's a few other people as well. We'll see who we want to go with.
Well, while we get
Yeah, let's
our
get that
lovely
going. Yeah.
behind the scenes production manager Chippy on finding the raid, week 4 is going to be coming, and we think that is going to be patch 13.12, right?
It should
Should
be, yes.
be.
All
Patch
right.
should, patch should come through on Wednesday, so we'll see a lot of potential cooking next week with
Yes,
the new
we
patch
will.
coming through.
Yes, we will. And and the three of us will see you guys back here next week. It is going to be Jealous Onions versus Flash Abusers.
It
So
is,
good.
Jealous,
yeah.
That's
Great
good.
Gel,
names.
the Jealous Onions did lose this week, unfortunately. So they are going to
Flash
be
Abusers
one.
are undefeated, I
They are going to
believe,
be
as
one
of
and
right now.
two. I don't know if they won or not.
Yeah, today we don't know. Going into this week, Flash Abusers were 2-0. Coming in lossless as well, just like Dorado Gaming did. So it could be a pretty good matchup.
I mean, they're. I mean, according to the team schedule, I mean teams and standings, they're on top of
Hmm.
Dorado Gaming, but it could just be because that's
Hmm.
just how it is.
Yeah.
It could be nothing, it could be something, but for Flash Abusers, they have 2-0 to each team they have played. They might have had to
Hmm.
go a 3-game this week. Not sure yet, but does not matter. We're gonna have Jealous Onions facing off against Flash Abusers for week 3, for week 4, for week 4. I said week
Yep. Week
4.
4. Week 4.
For
We
week
got
4.
there. We got there.
We got there. And like I always say, we'll see you guys there free.
Oh, I didn't know you
Darter.
ended it already. Heck.
Huh? Yes. No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
No. Fine.